Just after 6 o'clock, good morning for the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Will Bowling. The Titans have signed veteran edge rusher Lorenzo Carter, a third-round pick of the 2018 NFL Draft. Carter has played for the Giants and Falcons in his entire career. He played in 13 games with 11 starts in 2024 with Atlanta. The former Georgia Bulldog edge rusher has 7 sacks in the last 3 seasons. On the hardwood yesterday, the Tennessee Volunteers began their NCAA tournament with a win. SEC tournament's over. 77-62 over 15 seed Wofford. The Vols led wire to wire, claiming a spot in the round of 32 for the 4th straight season. They will face UCLA at 8:40 p.m. Central Time in Lexington on Saturday night. Chaz Lanier led the way last night with 29 points, the third most by a Vol in NCAA tournament history. In the SEC yesterday, Arkansas outlasted Kansas 79-72. Former Vol Jonas Adu had 22 points. Texas A&M beat Yale 80-71 behind 25 points from Pharrell Payne. Auburn also booked a ticket to the second round, while Georgia and Missouri bowed out of the tournament. Today, Vanderbilt takes the floor against 7-seed St. Mary's. That one's at 2:15. It's the first time the Commodores have played in the Big Dance since 2017. Coverage of the NCAA tournament begins right here on The Zone, courtesy of Westwood One at 11 o'clock. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. A fantastic Friday of March Madness, a film breakdown on a quarterback that's likely going to be your new QB next year, of great guests such as Brent Hubbs and Ron Slay, and you on the phones at 615-737-1045. Kayla on vacation, meaning you've got Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, and Justin Hawkins starting your Friday morning on March the 21st. And for the 4th straight year, Ramon Foster, the Tennessee basketball Vols are marching on to the round of 32. Good morning.
Good morning, man. Got home just in the nick of time to turn them on. It was fun watching it. Vols got a dub. Hey, we did our part, okay? Before we go any further, we did our part. Missouri. Jeez.
Yeah, Georgia.
Football school type of schools. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here? All in all, good showing from the Vols, though, man. You knew Wofford was going to make a run. I think it was Savage that said that a little bit yesterday. Was it you that said, hey, yes, they're going to go on a run or two.
By both of us, honestly.
Let it be okay. And it was in the end, man. Chaz, what a flamethrower yesterday, man.
Terrific.
I wish I had a shot like that. You ever just seen people just pick up a ball and make a shot in the gym? And you're like, why? How? I hate basketball players like that.
And that's probably what they say about you in football as well.
It is. I forget sometimes, like, you become a specialist at the things that you do, and the things that I think I do are, like, usually complicated to others. I don't see it that way, though. I'm like, well, maybe you could block. But shooters, though, like, looking at Steph Curry with what he's done to the game just looking at Chaz, you say to yourself, like, how whenever I couldn't make shots like that? But I guess they say it's like over 10,000 reps or 100,000 reps before you become a specialist at something, whatever that number is.
That version of Tennessee's backcourt will send the Vols a long way.
Yes, it will.
In the NCAA tournament. Zakai Ziegler, 12 assists to go along with 12 points. No turnovers. That'll work. Jordan Gainey, good. Jemai Meshack leads Tennessee in rebounding again and was terrific defensively. But Chaz Lanier, game high 29 points, 6 of 13 from 3. And Rick Barnes talked about it, and reading this yesterday, the NCAA tournament has more freedom of movement compared to the more physical SEC. Certainly looked that way for Chaz, who was not being tugged and grabbed and pushed and have his jersey pulled yesterday against a Wofford squad that did not pose the same challenges physically and athletically that the SEC teams this year had.
Oh, yeah, I felt the same was for what was it, Z also, Zakai.
Yeah.
I felt like he got fouls called yesterday that he wouldn't have gotten them in SEC play, like the grabbing and smacking of his hands as he was trying to go through the paint. You're right. They adjusted well, I felt like, in how they went about playing the game yesterday. I forget who it was yesterday. I'm trying to find the player it was that just kept harassing. I think it was Justin Bailey. He was harassing the heck out of Chaz. And I think he ended up picking up a couple of fouls early that kind of made him separate from Chaz, which also helped him around those screens. It was kind of fun watching that game unfold a little bit yesterday because, again, it was a slow pace. You could tell they had started fast, tried to get physical. I actually was looking at a little bit of that Auburn game, too. Auburn and Alabama State, I felt like early on, Alabama State was on the floor, attacking, being physical.
Yep.
And that's what you got to try to do, I guess, to see if the refs are going to let you play.
Sure.
Too much space, though, means Chaz Lanier three-pointer more times than not, though.
Certainly. And tell you what, yesterday, every time Wofford would try to go on a run, there was a Chaz Lanier three immediately following. Pretty much every single time. Defensively, Tennessee solid. The whole day yesterday. It was good. Good little appetizer. I feel like a lot of times we have this happen on the first day of the tournament where the major nobody saw that coming upset happens on day two. And I don't know, it felt a little chalky yesterday around the whole tournament.
It did a little bit, of course. Oh, my. Listening to the crowd. I'm not sure if you had it on or, like, if you got multi-view, like, if the sound was up in the Missouri game.
Yep.
Oh,
it
my
was.
gosh.
That was a full screener at the end of the night.
Overrated. I was just like, it was prominent.
I didn't know the Missouri Valley Conference had that kind of disdain for the Southeastern Conference.
Listen, and again,
I've called games of the Missouri Valley Conference for years now.
Listen,
doing sidelines with Belmont.
You knew this was a part of the equation at some point with as many teams as the SEC got in. You can't just dominate stuff anymore. The ability to want people to fall and crumble, man, was prominent yesterday. And listening to that Missouri versus Drake game. Drake, by the way, played a heck of a game. Missouri could not catch up.
Don't you just feel sorry for the Missouri social media person that can't post a final score with the caption, "They're not like us," to move on to the second round?
You know what happened?
Knew that was going to happen.
You know what happens with them right now, Will? Nothing.
Yeah,
They're done. That is true, though. Like, they have an abrupt end to why the continuation of the season carries on.
It's the beauty of the tournament.
It is. And I guess that's why there's so many upsets. Like, teams find ways to close out games.
Get a little tight.
Coaches get a little tight.
Sure.
But yes, that was good, man. I was glad to see Cade Phillips do his thing. They didn't get as many lobs to Akpara as I thought.
They did in the second half.
They did.
They did not get as many in the first half. They rode the hot hand with Chaz for sure.
Chaz was
in the first
cooking.
half.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Early on, I was just thinking to myself, all right, Chaz, a little long on the three-pointer. And then, of course, I listened to our guy Savage, a.k.a. Ron Slay, and said, hey, be cooler, dog. And that's essentially what it was. His ability, though, Chaz, to hit the mid-range. And I feel like most analysts, people that watch the game, don't appreciate that as much. Look, most shooters, if you're not getting your three-point behind the arc, like, shot down, like, move in. That's what a lot of people want to see. Move in. Take the easy two. Catch a flow. Switch it up a little bit, and they did. I was excited also to see Bishop Boswell with his hustle. I know I'm, like, foreshadowing, looking to next year a little bit, but, like, watching him hustle, I was thinking, of course, all right, we got somebody there as far as who can be a Zakai. Not Zakai, but you got somebody there to understand what Coach Barnes wants between him and Cade Phillips going into next year.
Solid first day of basketball and lots of reaction to it all throughout the morning. 615-737-1045, where you can give us your reaction. Brent Hubbs, of course, at 7:20 this morning, and Ron Slay, who will join us in the fourth hour of the show. He's been everywhere.
He was
in Lexington at the game. He's going to be back here. I imagine he'll be back in Lexington.
Yeah.
For future games or wherever else Tennessee heads. So we'll see if he's planning on making a trip back up for an 8:40 p.m. Central Time start against UCLA.
Yeah,
Tennessee getting the late window on Saturday night.
I'll take it. I'll be quite honest with you.
As someone who will be in the middle of broadcasting a Nashville SC game, I don't know if I will take it.
Oh,
but
is it a home game this weekend?
Yeah,
too?
it is.
It is a home game.
Yeah.
Well, can you have a monitor up?
Yeah,
you can. All right,
just to the side.
have you ever yelped out over the broadcast and watching the game? Because football season is going on during soccer season.
I've not.
You have not?
The one thing I have done is I have said Tennessee instead of Nashville SC one time. Because I was looking at the Tennessee game, but I covered it up where no one would have known it, but I'm telling on myself now. I was like, yeah, Tennessee, heart of Tennessee, where we are tonight here in Nashville as the boys in gold continue to attack. And I covered it up, and nobody would have ever noticed it. But yes, that's happened one time.
That's actually
one
pretty
singular
good.
time.
That's actually pretty good.
I want to say
right
that was
there.
during the Tennessee South Carolina 2023 game when the game with Kamal Haddon and the All Black got the interception. Tennessee wore the dark mode jerseys that night.
Yeah, that wasn't that was the revenge game for him. Yeah, love that. Love that. Was it Halloween for that one too?
Yep,
it was.
I don't know.
I think so. Yes, it was. It was Halloween. It was the night game. I know that for sure.
Yeah, no, I did.
Because they played Spooky Rocket Top, I felt like time and time again. Love that, by the way.
615-737-1045. More hoops reaction as we continue. The Titans signing an edge rusher and Clemson bowing out, breaking many of your brackets. We'll talk about all of that coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, they've been around here since 1990, man. Our family-owned and operated. Jimmy Hiller was recently named amongst the most admired CEOs, and it's because of the way he truly cares for his team and his clients. Their guarantee is this, good people, man. Happy you'll be or the service is free. If a customer isn't pleased with the work performed, they will make it right. It's because they take care of the customer on every job, every time, and they stand behind their work. Hiller also offers you true transparency pricing, which means this, man. Every part of the job is outlined up front, so the homeowners easily understand what they're paying for, and the most important thing, why, all right? There are no hidden fees, no added costs, no surprises when you get your bill. Listen, I personally book with Hiller. They do a good bit of stuff around my house. They've been there for plumbing, heating, and cooling, and also electrical, man. So if you want to book with the company I have or just learn more about them, simply visit happyhiller.com.
RKW is brewed by Scooter's Coffee on 104.5 The Zone as we begin your Friday morning. How's your bracket doing? 615-737-1045 as Ramon Foster and I break it all down for you, what you missed yesterday. If you were not able to hit the boss button and watch on March Madness Live or get to a television. Defensively, Ramon, for Tennessee yesterday, Wofford turned the ball over 11 times. Tennessee's advantage in points off turnovers, the difference in the game. They had 14 to none for Wofford. That'll do it.
No, it would do it, man. But it was exactly as we spoke about a little bit yesterday, man. And Ben McKee, too, is speaking about, like, the perimeter defense. You looking at Zakai, and not just him. You saw Chaz get aggressive around the ball, too, around the key, man. It was good. And specifically Meshack, it was 2 or 3 times where they break the ball away from those point guards from Wofford and honestly just smothered them. And I'll be honest with you, I felt like the size and program, too, played a part in it. And what I mean by that is our guys look bigger. Our guys look, I ain't gonna say more athletic, but they moved a little bit different. And they found ways to be aggressive without pushing or without being in the way and making it too obvious. Again, when you had Zakai going through the paint against Wofford, you felt like they were trying to push and bully a little bit more as opposed to just hand fighting and putting their hands around the ball, man. It was good from them. It was exactly what you wanted. And it's somewhat, in my opinion, I felt like it threw Wofford's point guards off a little bit. They couldn't get their flow of the offense going as much as you needed them to. It was aggressive and the right amount of it yesterday. So good on not just Meshack, but Chaz played well in that, and also Zakai too. It was good.
You got to feel pretty good about Chaz Lanier and his ability to just kind of go on a heater.
Yeah.
Like the look in his eye is a little bit different than it was a couple of weeks ago or even really like a month or two ago. Mm-hmm. And if they continue getting shooting performances like that from him, like when he's open, Tennessee will be right there in the mix to make the Final Four.
Man, it was a good one for him. 1 free throw away from 30. He missed that one, what was it, early in the second half, whatever. But Savage brought that up to us, man, when going into the SEC tournament. Remember, he said he couldn't tell us the whole conversation. By the way, he said he would come in earlier with us today.
Oh, cool.
Who was also in Lexington. With that being said, he dropped that to us right before the SEC tournament kicked off last week. He said, I think it was you, Will, that asked the question as far as, okay, what Chaz is Chaz that has the switch turned on? And he said he had a conversation with him, and that was there. That was established, that he had to be the guy moving forward. And at this point, man, like, there's no turning back for a guy like him.
No, right.
You either going to do what Coach Barnes and your offense wants you to do, and that's shoot the ball, and he did yesterday, man. Watching him come around, I think the clock was shot clock was down to, I think, 3 seconds, and he pulled it from the logo. Nobody's upset. Absolutely nobody is upset when Chaz Lanier pulls up from the logo, even in a miss. And I thought that's something right there. The idea that they have to, their defenders, Wofford, looked like they were pulling the vice, I guess if they use that in college basketball defense. They were double teaming him even without the ball at times. And the moment he had it in his hand, it freed up other guys too. And I think that's what, look, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't with a guy like him. As long as he's shooting and making himself a threat, I feel like the rest of the offense flows too, and we saw that yesterday.
Zakai Ziegler yesterday, 12 assists. That puts his career mark at Tennessee at 726 assists, moving him past Johnny Darden, who had 715 from 75 to 79. That is the new Tennessee career assist record and the third most in SEC history. He's been chasing that number. Yes. He's been talking about it a lot of the media, like, hey, I want this record. I want to be this guy. And tied the record on the first possession of the game, just 13 seconds into the game when he hit Jemai Meshack for a three. Deserved.
It is,
for Zakai Ziegler, who's one of the all-time great Tennessee point guards.
You love to see guys like Zakai be able to cement themselves in the record books and stuff like that. It's one thing to be a part of a program and have a level of importance to it. But to be in a position to where you put yourself in the record books, either by the record that your team has or by yourself as an individual, man, is huge. And by the way, too, shout out to Johnny Darden, too, man. My wife's from Springfield. My mother-in-law's from Springfield. Nice. She might be listening right now at work, too, by the way. And all I've ever heard from them is Johnny Darden. Coach Darden, that's what they call Coach Darden.
That's
Coach
awesome.
Darden, man. So it's good to see a local guy like himself have that type of praise, but also this. It's not just a nobody that passed you up.
Right.
And that record held for a very long time, man. You don't think about assists being important. But a guy like Zakai wanting that record finally got it, and you see the picture of him, too, also on the Vols.
Yeah, it was awesome. That
was cool. That was real cool right there. So congrats to both, man, for being Johnny Darden for being brought up like that and Zakai for going to get it.
12 assists for Zakai Ziegler, moves his season total to 254, also a Tennessee record. It passes Kentucky's Tyler Ulis for the second most in a campaign in SEC history. The guy with the record, by the way, for assists in a single season in SEC history, Sean Toohey. Of Ole Miss. Yeah.
We just talked about him, didn't we?
1979 to 80, he had 260 in one season. So Zakai Ziegler, if he gets 7 assists on Saturday night against UCLA, will have the SEC record for single season assists and take that away from the dad from The Blind Side.
That's what I was just going to say, the dad
Michael
from The
Orr's
Blind
adopted
Side.
dad from Ole Miss.
So the whole time Coach Foreman had me recruiting Michael Orr. You see where I'm headed down? Well, he sent me on the dummy mission, man. Mike Orr had no choice but to go to Ole Miss. His adopted dad is a record holder in the SEC for a season.
I knew he played. I didn't know he was that good.
I didn't know he was that good either, Will.
Some of the stories, by the way, you hear about that movie and everything, like about the process of it, it's pretty funny.
It is, though.
Because you lived it. You literally hosted him on his Tennessee recruiting visit.
Listen, man.
Were you there when he was told there were bodies under the field?
Did I? Yes, I had to have been. Yes, because I was his host the entire time.
That's so funny.
It might have been me that brought it up to him, Will. But Mike didn't want to do anything on that trip, though.
How competitive were you guys on getting your guys you were hosting to commit? I know every sport is like, oh, no, I got a hit rate. You get me a recruit, I'm going to get him.
It's very competitive. Not just that, I'm going to be honest with you, is how much fun can you make sure they have to.
Right.
And
that's
again,
the real competition.
That's the biggest competition of it all right there. But I had about maybe 2-3 guys as official visit hosts, hosties or whatever, man. So it was always cool. You know what was the best part? The per diem that you got to actually take them out to have a good time.
It'd be like, hey, we're gonna have a good time, but we're gonna save some of this money because I'm gonna need this for the rest of this week.
Yeah.
The amount of times that my friends would just pocket that cash and, hey, we're going to insert fast food chain here.
Or whoever's already hosting a party at their house. So we don't have to buy.
Oh, we'll just pull up here.
We'll just pull up over here, man.
Yeah.
No, and what's cool about it, though, I actually gave Mike the money for that trip, too. Like the little per diem, I was like, all right, man, you don't want to go out? Go to a movie. We walked into Saw and walked right out. That's what he wanted to go do, man. But besides that, the assist leader in the SEC is his adopted father.
I love it.
Yeah.
There you go. Soon it'll be Zakai Ziegler because 7 assists is nothing. Nothing.
That's what he needs for the season right now?
For the record, yes. For the single season record. Yep.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Clemson yesterday goes down. McNeese. Man, this game was 31-13 at halftime.
Wasn't as close as the finish was.
No.
Was not as close.
Clemson hit some shots late in that game. They decided, the ball goes in the hoop. A little bit too late in this one. 5 of 24 shooting, 1 of 15 from the three-point line. They had one player who made more than one basket, and 3 players failed to make a shot despite multiple attempts in the first half of this game. Some of the numbers behind this. 31-13 at halftime, 1 point away from tying the tournament record for the fewest points by a single team and a half in NCAA Tournament history. Wisconsin still holds that record at 12 in 1999. Credit to McNeese and Will Wade, who reportedly is going to take the NC State job. Man, the guy's not changed at all, and his team was all over the place in that first half.
Yes, it was, man. McNeese, again, I knew they had the guy that was coming out with the speaker and everything, but
that's right.
I didn't know like they could play like this. And then here's the other side of it, too. I know there's a lot of trash men talked about the SEC and where they were seeded and how many teams got in too, but a lot of folks side-eyed this Clemson. Now, Louisville, of course, I heard a little bit because my brother was like, how in the world did Louisville get a 9 seed or 8 seed and Clemson got a 5 when Louisville beat them twice? And it showed up. Eventually, that type of stuff show up, but they couldn't hit the backside of a barn yesterday, man, the Clemson Tigers. And their early exit wasn't like McNeese State did anything crazy. They just beat them around the rim, took the shots that were open, and again, They could not find the bottom of the basket at all yesterday as far as Clemson was concerned. And when they tried to rally back 9 for 30 from three, I mean, that doesn't do you any justice at that point. Again, they got bodied by McNeese, and I actually was kind of glad to see that a little bit, considering we have our fairy tale right now for the for the March Madness side of this thing.
Yeah.
Can McNeese actually get past the second round, though? That's where
against Purdue, absolutely. It's a vulnerable Purdue team that does not play defense.
I love that you're the biggest hater, too, because
no, it's just true.
They don't be real with you. I kind of want to hate them, too. No. Well,
I do hate them a lot.
I'm be real with you. I kind of want to hate them, too, because we got screwed by them more than one time.
Well, yeah, it's true. It is more so for Purdue, though. Can you do it again?
Yeah.
Because when you're like 350th in some metrics defensively, can you win one game against High Point? Yes. Can you sustain that level of success over multiple weekends to make a deep run? No. You just can't. Cowboys beat Clemson 69-67. Brandon Murray gets 21 points off the bench. Quinter Copeland, Christian Shoemate, the other main contributors in it. Will Wade is just he is what Bruce Pearl was in the sideline times about 10. Back when Bruce was at Tennessee before he kind of mellowed out a little bit. It's a good thing Will Wade does not have to wear blazers or jackets anymore, because the shirts that he would be dressing through, his dry cleaner would hate him if he was still wearing suits and dress shirts.
And you knew this, too, about Will Wade. Eventually, he was going to get him another big power forward
100%.
team. You knew that was going to happen. The real question I have for you is this. As somebody has been watching this for a while, are you upset that they're announcing where they're going also, too? Because isn't it the Indiana coach that's pretty much said his deal was done during the season, too? That was the conversation behind it. Like, you're in the middle of it right now. Now, of course, McNeese won. But, like, you're in the middle of March Madness, and you're already announcing that you're going to NC State at this point.
He's not announced it.
He's not announced.
It's just come out.
But still, I mean, the focus is there. Keep driving it home and hope Coach take you with you if you're a McNeese Cowboy at this point.
I mean, at this point, the players can move, too. So
that's true. That's very true.
It's the unfortunate part of it.
That's where it really gets to where the fans always side with the teams. And sometimes you just put yourself in a situation and say, no, this is just how the business model is at this point.
I mean, you think Will Wade's already recruiting his own players to come to NC State with him?
Yes.
I mean, he's still coaching them.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well,
hey, guys, as we get ready for Purdue this week, I'm just going to drop some info about Raleigh-Durham.
Dude.
Just hear me out about Raleigh-Durham, this lovely city, for no reason in particular.
That's the thing about coaches. Look at the trend, though. Like, Vrabel is going to get his own guys right now. This type of stuff happened. We're watching Brian Callahan sign guys that he wants. Like, Bones Fossils is bringing in guys that he wants, too. The familiarity of coaches, man, this is why they never get away from the trends. And a lot of time, coaches have notebooks on other coaches from, like, decades ago that they're doing the exact same thing. So I want to see how Vrabel's going to do it in New England. But on this side of Will Wade, though, yes, he's recruiting his own guys, Will.
Credit to Jonas Adu and the Arkansas Razorbacks on their win over Kansas yesterday. Adu versus Hunter Dickinson. What a wild sight it is to see those two guys going against each other after Dickinson was the Michigan guy that ended Kennedy Chandler's career 4 years ago in the NCAA tournament. Jonas Adu, who started off very slowly with Arkansas, is starting to be the best version of himself right now. 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks against Kansas. He outplayed Hunter Dickinson, wins that battle.
He did.
Over the last 4 games, Jonas Adu has 18.5 points per game, 8.5 rebounds per game, and 2 blocks over his last 4.
Nuts. And
pretty
not
incredible.
Just that, playing great around the rim, too, man. They had a finish yesterday, dude. That was, I mean, he showed his presence more than anything. It's kind of fun watching because, again, listening to Cal after the game, too, he was right. He was like, that team, who was my guy that interviewed him with the smooth hair? Golly, never mind. I'll get his name later. But he asked him, does this feel like redemption for you guys, whatever? And Cal was just like, this team is full of guys that have had hardships at other places. Basically, they had to transfer out and had to figure themselves out, too. And it made you feel like, okay, this is Kyle waking up the bear again in the sense of how his team's going to make a run in this tournament. But he was right. Like Adu, we spoke about him a little bit last year. I feel like it was very important for him to get out of Knoxville. He's now finding his way through this NCAA tournament. And not just that, but he's playing lights out, as you just said a second ago, Will. The guy that you want in him as far as a post player is what Arkansas is getting from him right now. Sure. And it's kind of cool to see him grow up a little bit. And honestly, make it worth what I'm sure they paid him to go to Arkansas for.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's again, showing up. But I won't lie. I got a player's crush, man. DJ Wagner, I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, he's a good player, man.
He's smart.
He's electric.
He is. I enjoy watching him play basketball.
Janelle Davis, another guy that has knocked Tennessee out of the NCAA tournament for FAU. 18 points, including a big three inside 2 minutes to put Arkansas up 4. They would put it away. Arkansas and St. John's. We get the matchup we wanted. Cal versus Patino in the second round. That's going to be awesome.
Won by 30 last night.
And they started off pretty slowly.
Yeah, they did.
I'm not super high on St. John's as a team. Again, one of those teams that's not super balanced. Overall, I think they're a bit fraudulent.
Do you?
I would not be shocked if Arkansas won that game. Boogie Fland coming back makes them a much better team. St. John's, who's ranked by Ken Palm as the number 1 defensive team and the number 64 offensive team. One bad shooting night for St. John's, and it's a wrap. Yeah. I mean, truly, they do not shoot well from 3. The Red Storm, coached by the King of New York, Coach Rick Pitino. So that's all I'm saying. That was an interesting one to me, for sure.
It is. I like Pitino, though, as a coach. Like, I'm here for that. And you're
school.
right. He is very old school. I hope he puts on the white suit.
Yeah, you might, honestly.
With that being said, though, this is what you're going to get, I feel like, from those teams that are lower rated at this point, lower seeded. Omaha came out and got very physical with St. John's last night, too. And that's been seems to me like everybody's trying to establish what are the refs going to allow you to do. Now, I was going to say this Kentucky, thinking of Cal, this Arkansas versus St. John's game. What time is it? Do you happen to know? Will it's a late game?
I can check.
But that one right there is going to be spice. It has to be. And the bigs that Arkansas has is what they're going to need to beat them, because here's what you do know about Pitino and his teams. They're going to fight in a way and push and press. And we're going to see if Arkansas's bigs can get up and down the floor with that, too.
Early game. 1:40 tomorrow.
Not bad.
St. John's and Arkansas. So that's how we'll begin our day.
Little appetizer right there.
That's a pretty good one.
Are you confident in Arkansas?
No.
Okay, and the other question,
all I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised if they won.
Like, Arkansas beating Kansas was huge for a lot of reasons. One, it's a blue blood. 2, it's an SEC school that couldn't lose again last night, too. So after this round moving forward, is the excuse done as far as the SEC? Well, you made it to the round of 32 at this point. Or do you still crap on them if an SEC team loses?
I mean, I don't know. Like, to be fair to that Kansas team, though, too, like, that's not a blue blood Kansas team.
To me, it is.
That's a very above average team. That's not great. That's wearing Kansas uniforms.
But the representation, though, I still think means a lot when you look at the way the SEC's been portrayed this year versus who they beat so far.
I think it means a lot for Calipari and Arkansas and that program specifically, right, that Cal is not just the coach that forgot how to win in March anymore.
Gotcha.
That's why I think it means a lot for him, to be honest with you.
I got that. My petty side just popped up last night because my wife done asked me. She was like, does this really matter? I was like, yes, it matters. Like, that is historically a team that has done well in basketball.
That's fair.
So that's where I'm at with it. I'm going to be honest, after hearing them get real personal, SEC overrated, I want everybody to lose.
The Drake fans.
It was the Drake fans.
To Missouri last night as they got the win. That game, by the way, fascinating the way Drake just slows you down.
They did.
And they spread the floor with all 5 just spread out. It's like the basketball equivalent of a Josh Heupel offense and the wide splits. Just that way there's nobody in the middle. And then backdoor cut, bing, bam, boom, bop, bing, bop, bam, and layup.
I see we'll look Kendrick Lamar.
I mean, truly,
right
it's
there.
Just like pass, cut, shot, 3.
It was. And what sucks, though, to be a team on the opposite side like Missouri, Caleb Grill couldn't find the bottom of the bucket at all.
They slowed him down.
When they start pressing and your shot's not, like, it's a wrap. That game was done about 4 minutes left in the second half.
Caleb Grill did not have any, 28-foot transition threes as he just, gets his feet set on the run. Bennett Sturts, man, at Drake is an electric factory.
Pressure.
He is a lot of fun to watch. Yeah. 615-737-1045. The Titans signed an edge rusher. Stop the presses. We'll talk about it next. Hey, it's So Bowling. Are you thinking about getting into the trades or ready to take your skills further? Well, Lee Company has the opportunities you're looking for. Lee Company is hiring skilled tradespeople in HVAC, plumbing, electrical, sheet metal, and more. With 80 plus years in business, competitive pay, and free training, their award-winning team is ready to help you grow in your career. Apply today at leecompany.com/careers. That's leecompany.com/careers. The folks with, again, like I said, over 80 years of experience. Lee Company open 24/7, 14 community locations here in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Alabama. You've seen their vehicles driving around. They've got over 1,000 of them in their fleet, over 1,700 employees. And Lee Company, they're involved in our communities, whether that's Little League, high school sports, local events, and sponsorships. They are a part of the community like you and like me. 615-567-1000 is the number for Lee Company. And if you're interested in working for Lee Company, you can head online, leecompany.com/careers. Again, apply today at leecompany.com/careers. That's Lee Company, all you need. RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. 615-737-1045. Ramon Foster, the Titans have signed an edge rusher.
Yay.
Official yesterday. Lorenzo Carter brought into the team, a third-round pick out of the University of Georgia in the 2018 NFL Draft, the 10th free agent to sign with the team this offseason. Over the last 3 seasons, he has 7 sacks for the Atlanta Falcons. Did not have any last season in 13 games, 3 in 2023, 4 in 2022. Does not solve the problem, but does add a body who is available and once again will add some experience into that room.
No doubt. You get a guy who is right before 30 years old, get another opportunity to prove himself. You got experience is what you also have, too, more than anything. And on top of that, the guy is 6'5", 260 plus, has the ability to hold the edge, and also given an opportunity, should be able to get after the quarterback, man. Again, long arms, too. Rhett just showed me that. 34-inch arms, over 10-inch hands.
I like it.
And a 4.5 and a 40. Again, speed.
Yeah, he's athletic as heck.
And a vertical jump of 36. God, dog. Yeah, he's jumping. A 10-yard split of a 1.59. Under 1.6 for anybody that size is amazing.
Yeah, he is not overly productive in terms of sacks, but the athleticism and just the experience that you're getting, certainly not a bad thing. This is a third or fourth edge rusher type of guy. Titans still need to go sign or draft their dude, but at the very least, this is a rotational piece that, again, is not heard often. And it follows a lot of the mold of what Mike Borgonzi and the Titans are valuing is availability.
Yeah. You're having the ability to stock your team up with guys that you want to see it look like moving forward. Again, they spoke about their ability to study what Washington did. Let's go Washington specifically. With the guys that they signed last year, the amount of one-year contracts to reestablish themselves as a defense, right? As a team that was going to get after it. That's what the Titans are at right now, too. And again, with what's left available, he's a guy that you had to bring in and give an opportunity to. No sacks last year. Usually psychologically, I think about those dudes being very adamant of having a very productive year, especially going into a one-year contract. They need him. He's about the same size as Arden Key, if not bigger.
Did you see yesterday, we've been wondering about when the Titans in new Nissan Stadium could host its first Super Bowl. Bill Lee, governor, has started the process, written to Commissioner Roger Goodell yesterday as a part of Nashville's bid to host the Super Bowl in February 2029. I'm writing in support of efforts of Nashville to be the host city for the next available Super Bowl in 2029 as Tennessee's capital and dynamic global hub. The city of Nashville is uniquely positioned to welcome the NFL for a memorable and successful event. And looks like this is your first crack at hosting the biggest sporting event in the United States.
Usually it's a year or two after you open up the stadium, man. That'll be huge. One is just go ahead and get that established. That more than anything is the entertainment side of it. As far as Governor Bill Lee writing that in right there, it's necessary. Usually most new stadiums get it within 2 years. Stadium's supposed to open up in 27. That 28 season hosting in February of 29 is where you want to be. That's going to be huge. And again, it also leads into why ticket sales are still going to be big inside of new Nissan Stadium.
Gosh,
you going one way?
I'm going to be in my 30s.
Either way, you going
crazy. To the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I don't know about all that.
You got to think it's 60,000 seats.
I didn't play 11 years in the NFL. I don't have the facilities to do decisions such as
But if
these.
you are that NFL rents the entire stadium at that point. Never mind, if I'm not mistaken. I was going to say if you were a ticket holder, you could PSL holder.
I'm sure there's some kind of access. I don't know. But.
That may be. That's exciting though. But again, that's a few years away, and you got to continuously build this team up. That's where we are right now.
I feel like if Kayla was here, she'd say Cam Ward and the Titans will be there.
Yes, 100% there. Yes, out of respect for her, we will acknowledge that. Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans will be playing in that.
So at the end of Cam Ward's rookie contract, he can play in the Super Bowl in Nashville.
Will that be the end of his
honestly, she'd
contract?
probably be saying, well, we don't know if they're going to draft him. No, they're drafting him.
Definitely drafting him at this point. But what if that's the conversation we're going to have later.
I mean, Tom
About
Brady
his
worked for
pros and
him.
cons.
Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl in his home stadium.
That's very true.
We don't know how many of these players will be on the roster when the Titans are potentially hosting the Super Bowl in 2029.
That's the first question, honestly. Do you have Jeff by 2030?
J.C. Latham probably here.
Latham, Skoronski could be.
Peter Skoronski, you hope, probably here. Tavondre Sweat,
Yeah.
probably playing here. Jarvis Brownlee.
So much turnover happens in the NFL world.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard to look on any roster, that doesn't have a premier quarterback right now and say that anyone's going to be there in 4 years.
Brian Callahan coaching it.
Boom, 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 boom. I don't know. It's a great question.
Jayhawk put in my ear.
It's a great question.
Brock Bowers, free agent to Tennessee.
What?
Jayhawk put in my ear. Brock Bowers, free agent to Tennessee at that point.
He's just finished, year one in Vegas.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Free
Led
agency.
by Arch Manning.
Led by Arch Manning.
There we go. Now we're talking.
I'm here for violence.
Arch Manning and the Tennessee
Friday,
Titans
I'm gonna act like it.
in the 2029 Super Bowl. 615-737-1045. Who had the biggest win yesterday in the first day of March Madness? We'll give you our highlights next. 7 a.m. Good morning and happy Friday for the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Will Bowling. In the NFL yesterday, locally, the Titans making a move, signing veteran edge rusher Lorenzo Carter, a third-round pick of the 2018 NFL Draft. The former Georgia Bulldog has played for the Giants and Falcons in his career. Last season, playing 13 games and starting in 11. He has 7 sacks, Carter, over the last 3 seasons. In March Madness, Tennessee begins its NCAA Tournament with a win, 77-62 over 15th-seeded Wofford. The Vols led wire to wire, claiming a spot in the round of 32 for a 4th straight season. Chaz Lanier led the way with 29 points, the third most by a Vol in NCAA tournament history, and Zakai Ziegler's 12 assists make him Tennessee's all-time career assists leader. In the SEC yesterday, Arkansas outlasted Kansas 79-72. Former Vol Jonas Adu had 22 points. Texas A&M beat Yale 80-71 behind 25 points from Pharrell Payne. Auburn over Alabama State books a ticket as well to the second round, while Georgia and Missouri bowed out of the tournament. Today, Vanderbilt takes the floor against 7-seed St. Mary's at 2:15 p.m. That's the first time the Commodores have played in the Big Dance since 2017. Coverage of the NCAA tournament begins here in the Zone at 11 a.m., courtesy of Westwood One. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. RKW brewed by Scooters Coffee with locations in White House, Mount Juliet, Rivergate, Smyrna, and Brentwood. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. Rolling into hour 2, where VolQuest's Brent Hubbs joins us in 20 minutes, recapping Tennessee's win over Wofford, looking ahead to UCLA, and giving us some nuggets from the spring practice field as well. Kayla with the morning off. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling starting your Friday. Justin Hawkins is our producer. Ramon, we are about to hear a lot about how Rick Barnes almost took the UCLA job, aren't we? If you were unfamiliar,
yes,
you are about to be familiar once more.
Yes, the heck we are, man. I'm glad we still have him. I'll throw that out there.
No doubt.
With that being said, they had a heck of a game yesterday. I know we're going to talk about who had the best showing yesterday, but UCLA had a real good one, man. Utah State, they were just throwing the ball in the air, I felt like.
Sure.
That's all it was from behind the perimeter. It wasn't my best game of the day yesterday, by the way.
What was your best game of the day yesterday, Ramon?
It actually is very anti-SEC.
Okay.
It was the Drake and Missouri game.
Man, it was so much fun.
It was. A team like Drake, man, you said coming out of the SoCon. I did not.
Missouri Valley, my
bad. That's
Yep.
on me. I should have known that.
That's all right.
But watching what I know Missouri is, what they were up against all of last year, and get to this point where they are right now, been a 6th seed, and to have Drake come out and just be lights out against them, I thought was more than big for that program, and it really just put a black eye on the SEC. So I can acknowledge that, look, that game to me I felt like was the biggest showing from a team that I didn't know a whole lot about, and watching them just really just smother Missouri. Again, Caleb Grill absolutely did nothing as it pertains to what they're expecting of him. Tamar Bates also. It was just one of those games that Drake was a matchup nightmare for them. I felt like they moved up and down the court a whole lot better than they did, and they hit the shots they were supposed to. Again, you go 50% from the three-point line, that's having a real good night, man. Missouri could not catch up.
Yep.
And that's the issue that you're going to run into with these teams that really thrive off the long ball. When you find a team like this that plays their philosophy and they're very efficient, and Drake was, that makes for a hard team to beat in the tournament. No matter what kind of pace you play because they're going to pass the ball around, find the open shot, and they have no problem with taking 2s while other teams are taking 3s.
I think the difficult thing with playing Drake is they play so slow that you have to get up on them early. If you are down to Drake in the second half, they are content and comfortable with grinding it out to the last 5 seconds of the shot clock. There are a lot of teams, like McNeese struggled with that almost a little bit, where I thought they went slow, maybe a little bit too early against Clemson. I mean, it worked because Clemson was so far behind. But certain teams have trouble closing out games because they're uncomfortable in slow, long, methodical half-court possessions. That's what Drake does. They've got 5 out, nobody in the paint. Right. They spread you out where their heels are on the white line of the baseline and the sidelines and make you come out and defend them. That way, if you get penetration, you get by the guy that's on the ball, or if you get a backdoor cut on the baseline, there's nobody there to help once you do get a step on someone. It's a fascinating system from head coach Ben McCollum, who was in his first season. So he replaced Darian DeVries, who was at West Virginia, who is now the head coach at Indiana.
Jeez. I mean,
Tucker DeVries. But Bennett Sturts, though, oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
He is so awesome. The runner 3 that he hit the top of the key.
What was that?
It was one of the most ridiculous things
let's
that I saw yesterday.
For a second. Like,
he had a runner 3 from the top of the key.
And leaned back like he knew it was in.
Like he had done it 100 times. Because he probably had.
You have got to be kidding me, dude. Like, it was child's play for a guy like him. Like, Bennett Sturts, like, I'm willing to watch them win again is what I'm telling you at this point.
Totally. They dictated the pace of that game. They really did. They dictated how Missouri was going to have to play. Missouri, a team, one of the best offenses in college basketball. I mean, that is a Missouri team with wins over Kansas, Alabama, and Florida, held to 0.88 points per possession.
Yeah. And then,
terrific.
I mean, you got players on Missouri that's playing 30-plus minutes that's only netting you 8 points. Like Mark Mitchell, 35 minutes, only 8 points as a guard. Like that right there, just in general, tells you what they were able to do as it pertains to Drake's pace. I ain't gonna lie to you, it was fun watching it. I am very SEC, but the big bad SEC took a major loss last night, though, in this Missouri. I didn't have this one in my bracket as an upset. I did not.
So, honestly, I'm going to go a little bit off the beaten path. Not necessarily an upset, but the team that I thought had the best win, 8-seed Gonzaga over Georgia. Did you watch this one at the beginning of the game?
I did not see the beginning. I was at practice.
You know what the score was about 8 minutes in?
No.
30-5. 30-5 in favor of Gonzaga, who beats Georgia 89-68. Gonzaga is really, really liked by the numbers and the metrics and the analytics. Ken Pom has them the number 7 team in the country right now as an 8 seed. The number 7 overall team in the country. They will get Houston in the second round. I have picked this as an upset for Gonzaga. At the beginning of the tournament in my bracket, I also picked way too many upsets, which I do every single year.
Sicko.
But that's fine. Ken Pom projecting Houston to pick up a 5-point win over the Zags, who have won 10 out of 11. They avenged a couple of losses to St. Mary's in the conference tournament. Man, Georgia had more turnovers than made field goals in the first half.
Well, I mean, when you look at the full breakdown of this game, though, it was a rough day for Georgia in general. Couldn't do anything efficiently at all. But also, I mean, their campus is going through it right now, too, with multiple vehicular situations on. I mean, that's what they're worried about.
I don't know if that's affecting the basketball team.
I know, but still, they just look bad.
You just wanted to throw that in there.
I did want to throw that in there. A bunch of frauds is what they look like, man. Again, Asa Newell got his 20 points, didn't hit any 3-pointers, so he had to be efficient around them. Again, when you're down that much, as far as basketball goes, like there's a lot of energy that has to be put out to catch up. They simply couldn't do anything. I'm actually glad they dogged them out like that.
So talking about Zakai Ziegler and his assist record.
Yeah.
Ryan Nembhard, point guard for Gonzaga, started his career at Florida, if you remember him. 333 assists this season. For Ryan Nembhard. 8 assists on the day, 333, draws him level with Avery Johnson from Southern in the mid-'80s for 5th all-time in the NCAA's single-season assist leaders. We talked with Slay a few weeks ago about how this time of year is a backcourt-led time of year. Your guards are your decision makers. You have to make a lot of high-pressure decisions, kind of like quarterback play in football.
Yeah.
Means more in the playoffs. Guard play means more in the NCAA tournament. They have got 2 terrific guards. The X-Factor Khalif Battle for Gonzaga. 4 threes for him, game-high 24 points to go along with 8 rebounds. Asa Newell did his thing for Georgia, was not near enough. Ryan Nembhard and Khalif Battle were terrific in this game. Gonzaga and Houston is going to be a really, really fun game tomorrow.
It should be, man, especially if they're putting up points like this, too. They absolutely just worked Georgia, though. What is this representation, man? But again, them upsetting Houston, I'm not sure they will. I'll take Houston on that one.
It'd be interesting.
I had Georgia losing in my bracket, though. I just couldn't trust them enough.
It's fair.
Absolutely could not trust them enough. And now when you got these young NBA prospects, too, like Asa Newell, like now it's time to go get to the bag.
Yeah. So tomorrow, full schedule of games in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Which of these matchups intrigues you? Purdue McNeese at 11:10 a.m. St. John's, Arkansas, 1:40.
Yeah.
Texas A&M, Michigan at 4:15. Texas Tech and Drake will be really fun. That's going to be a big challenge for that Drake team to see if they can get to a Sweet 16 at 5:10. Auburn and Creighton. Creighton, also terrific yesterday.
Yeah, yes, they were.
Against Louisville, who was underseeded and then underdelivered in their 8-9 matchup. Wisconsin BYU will be an awesome game. That one is going to be back and forth. A lot of threes going to be taken in that one at 6:45 tomorrow. Houston Gonzaga. That one is going to be 7:40 on TNT, and then Tennessee UCLA 8:40. So,
yeah, for me, it's definitely Arkansas St. John's. I want to see if Arkansas can continue what they got going on. And, of course, to me, looking at the 4-5 matchup, Texas A&M and Michigan. I hadn't seen much of Michigan this year. I have seen Texas A&M. I want to see if their defense translates over into what Michigan had going on or what Michigan can do, and can they actually advance. So I'm actually got my eye on this Texas A&M team. I actually just have a high thought of them in general. I'm not sure if it's because of the way their coach presents himself.
Yeah,
because
he just wears a suit.
I don't know. It just seems like he's
benefit of the doubt.
He's a very serious guy that runs a very serious program. So I kind of want to see them be that way tomorrow. And
I got the Nimhards mixed up, by the way. He started at Creighton. Ryan Nimhard did. That's right.
That matchup's going to be good. Watching Houston also is going to be crucial for me because I hadn't watched them a ton either.
Grab your hard hat.
Is it good?
It is physical.
It's physical.
Very physical. Very, yeah. They are they're very old school. I mean, Kelvin Sampson. What do you expect? Right. But they're a lot like Tennessee is in terms of the defense, the rebounding, and the physicality. And if they are allowed to play their game by the officials, they are hard to beat.
Yeah. I'm hoping that McNeese and Purdue tip off right, though. I want to see if McNeese can continue on.
I think they can, for sure. Well, they play their game.
As long as they got the intro guy show up, they're good to go. Actually got Purdue 5.5.
Aura Khan.
Aura Khan is his name.
Well, no, Aura is just he has an aura.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like his nickname at this point.
I was lost right there, Will.
Coming up next, VolQuest and On Three's Brent Hubbs will join us. The latest from Knoxville at a spring practice, plus more reaction to Tennessee and Wofford after this.
It's Ramon Foster for Genesis Diamonds. Good people, we are lucky to have Genesis Diamonds here. They are such a cut above other places and far and away the leader, the dominant player when it comes to engagement rings and fine jewelry. One, the store is amazing, man. They have great people who really care about you whenever you walk into the building, and also no pressure to buy. But the best part, man, is the value, the prices, the fact that you get a bigger, better diamond for less. Nobody beats their diamond prices, and this is why Genesis is such a disruptor in the jewelry industry, and they are the category killer. Remember, Genesis Diamonds was started by former diamond wholesalers and diamond cutters. They have connections that go back for decades, and every diamond is handpicked using the highest standards, too. All this means unbeatable value for you. They refuse to be undersold on GIA-certified diamonds and have the price guarantee that is not just local. It covers the entire nation. So get the deal you deserve on your diamond at Genesis Diamonds, and don't miss their expanded selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches. All the hard-to-find models, too. So go ahead, check them out, man. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
RKW continues. We are brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead and save $2 off your first mobile order. Ramon and Will hanging out with you this morning. Kayla on vacation as we talk Vols with our insider from VolQuest and On 3, Brent Hubbs, this morning. Brent, what's going on? Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday to you guys. Hope everybody's well.
Yes, sir. We are excellent. Tennessee and Chaz Lanier, man, looking like they did in the first round last season when Dalton Connect started his run off with a good performance. I feel like Chaz has made a couple more threes just since we started the show this morning, Brent. What stood out to you about the win for the Vols last night?
Well, I mean, I thought it was pretty businesslike. They were far from perfect, but the moment, obviously, Chaz's first time in the NCAA tournament, and he played well. Obviously, Tennessee was comfortable in that gym. Zakai Ziegler played well. They did what they needed to do. It was not the great beatdown. I thought they had a chance to run Wofford out earlier than what they did, but there was never a threat of Tennessee getting upset. You go about your business and advance to the next one. So I think that Tennessee did some good things. There's some things they need to work on. They got to clean up the glass a little bit. But if those guards are going to play like that, Tennessee gives themselves a chance. I think everybody this morning is looking at this matchup with UCLA coming up Saturday night at 9:40 or whatever time that start time is. And the concern is, can Tennessee survive in the post? Are they going to be okay in the post in this matchup? UCLA's got some size. Tennessee has got to get a little more production in the post than what they've been getting the last couple of games.
Brent, do you have any idea that Rick Barnes almost took the UCLA job? Because we're about to hear about that a lot, aren't we?
Yeah, I heard that story. I heard that story one time. I know this. Rick Barnes should thank UCLA because he made $200,000 for that win last night.
Oh,
one of the biggest things that came out of him not taking the UCLA job was a really nice bonus structure. So he benefits greatly from winning in the tournament and finishing in the top 5 or the top 10. In the final polls. So his bonus structure was the most drastic change really to come out of him electing to stay at Tennessee and not go to UCLA. So he should thank him for that. But yeah, I think the 48 hours he flirted with UCLA is going to be certainly a topic of conversation when he meets the media this afternoon.
Yeah, he flirted with UCLA. Grant Williams almost went to an Ivy League school. Josh Dobbs was almost an astronaut. All thing we've never heard about, Brent.
Yeah, it's like this tale as old as time.
That's right.
It's like Ramon Foster almost did something.
Or Ramon Foster was a kicker at Ripley High School.
There we go. That's it. Brent Hubbs with us this morning, man. Speaking of UCLA, too, man, it's been quoted by their coach, Mick Cronin, that Tennessee's been in a golden era, man. You can find that article on VolQuest.com, by the way. But Tennessee's been in a golden era, man, and I feel like that is the case. You don't appreciate it until somebody's done. But you look at what Admiral Schofield was capable of doing, the amount of players that he's got in. McDonald's All-Americans that Rick Barnes has had, first-round draft picks, man. And last night, Zakai Ziegler, man, becoming the assist leader for the Vols here. How crucial has this, or how big has this era been under Coach Rick Barnes, though, with the type of players that he's kind of put through this program?
Well, it is the golden era. I mean, when you think about it, Tennessee's got 3 seasons in the history of Tennessee basketball where they've won 28 games or more.
Wow.
And 2 of those have come in the Rick Barnes era. The other one was in the Bruce Pearl era. This team has the 3rd highest number of wins of any Tennessee basketball team in history. And this is, quote, a down year by the standards of some people because they didn't win the regular season or they weren't in contention for the regular season at the end of the regular season. So, what Rick's done has been terrific. Now, I get it. You're all judged by what you do in postseason play. And if Tennessee, doesn't get it done Saturday night, then this will be a disappointment, right? Because you're a 2 seed and you didn't advance out. But when your bracket holds chalk, then that second round game's a hard game. You're not a 2 seed playing an 11 or 10 or whatever the number would be. You're playing a harder team and a team that played well last night. But I think when you look at what Rick Barnes has given Tennessee basketball fans and those of us who are 50, which is where I am, we remember.
That's all?
Yeah, I know. Thanks. Some days it feels 67. Some days it feels 77. It's a cold morning this morning. My joints say I might be 82. So, it's one of those things. But, I remember the orange seats, and I remember 5,000 fans being there at games. And I remember being able to basically talk to somebody on the other side of the court during a game, because it was when I was in school at Tennessee from 92 to 96. And that was a black, dark, horrible era of Tennessee basketball. 5-22 uncompetitive type games. And so if you're in the age I'm in, or in that window, then you have a greater appreciation for it. If you started becoming a fan when Bruce Pearl became the coach at Tennessee, then this feels a little bit more like the norm, right?
Yeah.
Going to the tournament every year, this is what you do. But if you're an older fan, you got a great appreciation for what Rick Barnes has done and the consistency his team has played with year in and year out during his time in Tennessee.
Man, one thing about having crucial guys, or pivotal guys is what you would call them, like your Ron Slays, you know what I'm saying? Like those types of guys that come through those programs, is you want them to leave a lasting mark. We spoke earlier, Zakai taking over Johnny Darden's assist record. What does it mean to a guy like Zakai at his size, where he's coming from? I think he was accidentally found in recruiting. What does that say about him and Coach Barnes' eye for talent?
Well, it says that you never stop looking. And, I think those days are probably going to be fewer and further between now because of the transfer portal. It's easier to find a guy with experience than it is to take a chance or take a flyer on a guy who you find late in the process. And, Zakai's talked about it. I mean, he was about done with basketball because few were interested in him. And Rick Barnes has talked about it because what Zakai's done as a competitor every day on the practice floor has made him a better coach, has made him enjoy coaching better. From a fan standpoint, here's a guy who's been here his entire time, right? He's not no offense to Dalton Connect or Chaz Lanier. Fans love those guys too, but they really love the guy who's played all 4 years for you and has been the guy. I remember sitting in Rick Barnes's annex office in Pratt Pavilion, which is where he hangs out most of the time. And I was doing an interview with him on Media Day, preseason Media Day. And we were talking, and we did the interview, and we finished, and he turned to me and he said, this town, this fan base will absolutely fall in love with Zakai Ziegler because he's one of the toughest dudes I've ever been around. He goes, they're going to love him. He's undersized. He plays hard. He's got a great smile and a great personality. He said he will be a star with the fans because he's going to be a really good player for us. He goes, we were going to redshirt him. He goes, our plan has been to redshirt him. He said, we've worked him out now. He goes, we're not redshirting him. He'll play. And he's exactly right. I mean, fans love him because he is undersized, and they love his competitive spirit. They love the fact that, he does smile on the court regardless of what's going on. And Rick was exactly right in that he became the face of the program because of the toughness he showed from the day he got on campus.
Hubbs, just on a little fun side of this conversation we're having, right? You speak about fans and popularity. If you were to do a poll of three guys, who would win the best popularity contest? Would it be Zakai, Grant Williams, or Josh Dobbs?
Well, football's going to take precedent over basketball, so that's probably not a fair deal. I think people resonate more with Zakai. Even though Grant Williams was a quote overachiever and as Will said was going to the Ivy League, and all the things that he was going to do. I mean, Grant's a big guy who's skilled and can play, and Zakai is one of those. I mean, he plays like he's playing on a playground somewhere, just within the structure of what Rick Barnes wants to do. But he's a guy that you look at and go, he's going to play from sun up to sundown. Yeah. He's going to play the whole time. He's just a little Energizer Bunny, Mighty Mouse type dude. So I think that's part of what everybody likes about Zakai Ziegler and likes about who he is. So, I mean, I would say Dobbs because of what he did for Tennessee football and kind of brought them out of doldrums, if you will, when they were there. So I would go with Dobbs, but I think there's a lot of people that have Zakai Ziegler deep in their heart because of they can relate to him a little better than they can certainly Grant Williams.
I think I would pick Z.
Yeah.
And I've played with Dobbs, but like Z, I think that's a hard pick.
Josh Dobbs might also pick Zakai Ziegler.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Hubbs is right.
Well,
you're right.
Here's the thing. I mean, in a lot of ways, Zakai is probably more popular, and maybe that's what you're asking. But in terms of when you sit back and say impact and what he meant to fans, I think a lot of people would pick Dobbs.
Okay.
Because again, look at who Dobbs beat in his career.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Look at the teams he beat. Where was Tennessee before Josh Dobbs got there?
Ooh.
Josh Dobbs put Tennessee as a top 5. They were 5-0 going to Texas A&M.
Sure were.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Hail Mary against Georgia. It's the last win you've had over the Bulldogs. He beat Florida at home. That broke a streak as well. I mean, he did some really important things for Tennessee football, and took them to a place they had not been for a long time. And I'm not saying Ziegler hasn't done that, but I mean, Grant Williams took Tennessee basketball to a place that they hadn't been as well. So from a raw popularity, maybe Z. From an impactfulness, I think most Tennessee fans would probably say Dobbs. I think it's a great question, Ramon. I mean, I think it's a great debate.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love it. Brent Hubbs of AllQuest with us this morning. Brent, you mentioned UCLA, the matchup. It's so interesting in the era of basketball we're in where teams want to take a ton of threes and run up and down the floor. We get to a little bit more old school coaches that want to grind out and play a slower tempo in Rick Barnes and Mick Cronin. What stands out to you about this matchup, and do you like the matchup for Tennessee against a team that, as you mentioned, has got a 7-footer and some real size inside?
Well, they've got real size, and they play they went 8 deep last night, playing double-digit minutes. They ended up playing, I think, 11 guys. Now, one guy played a minute at the end. He doesn't really count. 2 guys, but then they kind of played some walk-ons late. But they got a little bit of depth, and they can rotate some guys. They've got size. They do want to grind it out and play defense. Here's the thing about UCLA. I think for as much as Mick Cronin eviscerated his team publicly for December and part of January, in addition to eviscerating travel plans and everything else, because Mick Cronin seems kind of angry most of the time, his team has gotten better. And I think when you look at what they've done down the stretch of the regular season, it's a team that I think has started to figure out what he's looking for. If UCLA shoots 49% from the field and makes 10 threes, which is what they did last night, Tennessee's going to have a hard time. Now, how good is Utah State defensively? Fair question. I mean, we don't know. They had a good record coming in, but that doesn't really mean anything because I don't know who all they played throughout the year. So I think it's an intriguing matchup. I think it is going to be a battle of wills. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Tennessee defensively plays gaps, how Mick Cronin attacks those gaps. Do they get a lot of inside-out threes out of this? I thought last night Utah State tried to double a couple times, gave up wide-open looks from the three-point line. You can't do that. So Tennessee's got to be more sound defensively, and I think they got to be more sound defensively than they were last night themselves. But if both teams get their defense going, this will be a bruised and battered slugfest for sure if Tennessee can stay out of foul trouble.
Well, as Rick Barnes of the Vols battle with UCLA this weekend, Brent, on the football side of things, a big scrimmage coming up for Tennessee and Josh Heupel. As you look ahead to that, Brent, and through the early parts of spring practice, what are you most interested to learn coming out of this first scrimmage? And what do you think the coaching staff is interested to learn about this team as they have kind of a big checkpoint this weekend?
Well, I think for offensively, there's 2 areas for me. Now, you can say 4 or 5, but I got 2 areas on my radar. One is the physicality of the offensive line. I'm not worried about Pendleton. I'm not worried about Wendell Moy, but I want to know how much better Lance Hurd is from a movement standpoint, and where is David Sanders and William Satterwhite. Satterwhite's done all the things mentally you want him to do. Now he's got to do it without a coach around, with a clock, and making adjustments on the fly and playing physical. You got to do both of those things. And so how does he handle that? And then outside on the perimeter at the receiver spot, how do they handle things again, when coaches are on the sidelines, nobody's behind you telling you what to look for, what to watch for, that type thing. I mean, the one thing about Josh Heupel in scrimmage settings is, and I think we've talked about this before, he just puts the ball down and says play. Okay. There's not a ton of rules. There's not a, hey, Tim Banks, you can't do this. You got to limit your stunts or blitzes or whatever. We're just going to go play football and see how guys react. And Willie Martinez, you can't stand behind your corners and tell them what to watch for and what to do. Like, it's go play time, and let's see where we're at. So how do young guys react to kind of playing the game with coaches on the sideline in a true game setting on Saturday? And there's a lot of young guys playing. There's young corners, some young linebackers. But really, I think you look at those young offensive linemen and you look at the receivers, and those are two areas that really stand out to me as to what to watch for. There's plenty of other storylines, but those are probably my biggest two.
Hubbs, that's what I was going to ask you with the structure of this scrimmage right there. Like, when you say they just put the ball down and play, what are the attitudes like in that point? Because this is where those fights kind of break out. And I'm not promoting fighting in practice or scrimmages, but when you tell me that the defensive coordinator can call whatever he wants, that lets me know that they're trying to really pick with the offense at that point. And he has the ability to say, you know what? You guys suck over there. Like, what I'm getting real personal now, Hubbs, but what?
Sent Ramon back to a dark place.
I know, because defenses are always ahead of the offense, usually. More times than not, especially this time of the year. What is the attitude and response like you expect from those guys on the offensive side of the ball?
I love it when I get you going, because you got visions of Bear Mike Shoot from John Chavis.
Listen, Coach Chavis gassing up Omar Gaither and Marlon Mitchell, and you got
your boy Rob Ayers,
Justin Harrell over there just wrecking shop. Yeah, I get ticked off on this, so let me know. I need a fight, and who is it going to be?
Well, I don't know about a fight, but I think the question is, how do guys respond, right?
Okay.
And how does William Satterwhite respond against Jackson Moore? He's not going to win every rep, right? But where are you at? Because again, this is not one-on-one anymore. This is going to be, we could stunt, we can do some different things if you want to, and even if you put rules in, the rules go out the window about 2 series in. They always have, because some coordinator called a play the other coordinator didn't think was allowed because it was on the do not do list, and vice versa. And then all of a sudden it becomes a football game, which is ultimately what every coach wants it to be anyway, right? So, I mean, I think that's the fascinating part. How does David Sanders pass block when he's got to worry about everything else out there that's going on, different looks, twists, maybe the nickel corner's coming on a blitz, or maybe they're wrapping – a linebacker outside him. How does he handle some of those things? And I think that's what you're looking for as a coach. Knowing it's not going to be perfect, how do you respond when something bad happens? Do you bow your neck? Do you does one bad play become 4 bad plays, or what do you do? And I think that's what coaches are looking for in matchup, in scrimmages on both sides of the ball. So I don't know. I think that's going to be interesting to see which side of the ball responds best. I think you look defensively, you feel like there's a little more leadership right now. Offensively, can Nico lead and have his guys on to the next play? Does Nico not allow a bad play to become a second or third bad play? That's the growth and evolution you're looking for from some of these returning offensive players, and how do they help the young offensive players move on to the next play? It's a good storyline on Saturday.
Brent, you have a hot board ready for Tennessee baseball coach now that baseball's lost 2 games in a row? Potential candidates to replace Tony Vitello?
You know what? That one last night was tough because they did something that they had not really done. They have fielded the ball really well. Yeah. And what they did is what I was just talking about with football in the scrimmage setting. They let one bad play become 2.
Right.
And Liam Doyle let it become 3, and all of a sudden you're walking guys, and you kind of lose, and the inning got away from you, and it's 5 runs. And you just can't do that. I know that's baseball, but Tennessee's done a good job of not doing that until last night, and they had that moment. The question now is going to be, how do they respond today? Remember, this is a team that's not lost a series in SEC play since they were in Tuscaloosa last year. How do they respond to this? What kind of, what does Phillips do on the mound for Tennessee? And can Tennessee clean it up in the field? I mean, when you go back and look at last Saturday, Marcus Phillips threw, he was pitcher of the week, but he threw a bunch of first pitch strikes, got ahead of batters, and got a bunch of ground ball outs. And they made a bunch of great plays behind him to keep Florida, from having a big inning or getting going that way. Does this infield and outfield respond tonight the way you expect them to respond and pick their pitcher up? They didn't in the second inning last night, and it cost them.
5 names to replace Tony Vitello next week with Brent Hubbs. I'm kidding, of course. Brent Hubbs of All Quested on 3, our guest Fridays at 7:20. Always excellent, Brent. Thanks so much.
Hey, Hubbs, real quick, just so you know, our other basketball historian has some choice words for us, okay? Ron Slay said, y'all just forget about our era. He said this. They fired Jerry Green 4 straight NCAA tournaments and 2 SEC regular season championships. Recruiting at a high level. We definitely bringing this up. So Ron Slay got his topic for the day.
All right, wait a minute. All right, just call me back in the Ron Slay hour. We'll have this debate. Okay.
Yes.
Listen, I love me some Ron Slay. I love Ron Slay.
Yeah.
The problem is Rick Barnes is the deacon out there selling it to all the people, and Jerry was telling everybody to go to the Kmart. Okay, that's not Ron's fault. It's not Ron's fault that he told him to go to the Kmart. But I mean, Ron was popular.
Yeah.
But Jerry made him a little bit harder to like. But again, Ron, what year was that? What year was you playing, Ron? 99?
99-02, 99-03.
Check the tape, Slay. I said 92 to 96.
Yeah.
You were still kicking slats out of your crib when I went to school. You didn't even know where Malta, Wilson, Virginia was at that point.
Oh, man. I love it. All right.
We'll give you a ring
This will be brought
Hubbs.
back up. This will be brought back up. Thank you, Brent. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
All right. There he is. Brent Hubbs with us this morning.
He got me going, and I got Ron going. There we go. Let's go.
It is established that Ron Slay's teams at Tennessee are not given the credit that they deserve. No doubt about it.
I feel them on that.
100%.
Yeah, I feel them.
100%. VolQuest Brent Hubbs brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every stage of life. All right. There is a rule proposal in the NFL that is being seen as more fair. I'm going to tell you why it's actually going to make things less fair in the NFL, something the Detroit Lions want to do coming up next. RKW is brewed by Scooter's Coffee as we conclude the first half of your Friday. All of our conversations with Brent Hubbs, presented by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every stage of life. You get that wherever you download podcasts. Who knows, when Ron Slay gets here, maybe we'll be calling Brent again. Have a conversation about the history of Tennessee basketball. I'm here for all of it. Great stuff. Ramon, there is a rule change proposed by the Detroit Lions for the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
This is interesting to me because I think it is going to have the opposite effect of what they want. So Detroit's proposal is take the 7 playoff teams in the NFL, 4 division winners and 3 wild cards, and seed them based on record. Winning the division would no longer guarantee a home game and, at worst, the number 4 spot on the playoff tree. Now, granted, makes all the sense in the world for an NFC North team to be proposing this. They are good.
Right.
They were 1 loss away in Week 18 from going on the road in the beginning of the playoffs. Are you for or against this change proposed by Detroit?
I'm going to be real with you. I'm against it.
I am too.
Because if you're good enough, beat the people that beat you in your division. That's the way I look at that one. Like, I get NFC North, they're stacked, right? But I won my division. It's not my fault that my division is less than yours is at this point. Be that much better. You shouldn't get the opportunity to host if you didn't actually win your game. Win your division. That makes no sense to me. Just because you have a better record or you have better quality wins, no. We're separated for a reason. The divisions are what they are at this point. And, of course, it puts more pressure on the lower division to get better.
Yeah.
But this is just the tip of the cap to you. If you are that good, sir, you should go to an NFC South team and beat them on the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For me, it's the fact that the schedule is not balanced enough among all divisions for this to be fair. What I mean by that is, Mike Florio wrote about this at ProFootballTalk.com. So the NFC West next season, let's say that for example.
Okay.
The 2 divisions they play 4 games against the NFC South and AFC South this upcoming season.
Okay.
So if you have a schedule that gives you the bad divisions for your entire division to play, then your whole division's going to have better records.
Absolutely.
The AFC division or the NFC division that plays the AFC South is getting games against Jacksonville, Houston, Tennessee, and Indy. That is a lot easier than divisions that have to play against the AFC West. Because if you've got to then play those coaches, and I know not all those teams are great right now, but for the sake of conversation, you're playing Harbaugh, you're playing Andy Reid, you're playing Pete Carroll now in Vegas, and you're playing Sean Payton in Denver. That's a really different challenge than playing Liam Cohen in Jacksonville.
Right.
Shane Steichen, like it is totally different for me. So like NFC West, same thing. Like you're playing some of those other bad teams. So of course, all of the teams that play in that bad division are going to have a better record.
Can I be real with you also? As a player, I'd always look at the schedule beforehand, which division we had.
Yep.
Super Bowl runs are made off of this, though, too, Will. If you have a weaker division that you're playing, and you know you're going to get to 12 wins or more.
Right.
Well, first, let's talk about the number 1 overall seed at that point. Like, there's a lot of grace in knowing that you're playing those divisions at that point in time. So if you are a team like Detroit, feel like you got, like, stuffed because, hey, we are a better team than them? No, absolutely. Just simply go beat those teams. Because, again, there were times in which we played where I knew, we got the AFC East. We just got to get past New England at this point. Or the NFC South. Like, those are the things that are said as far as players because you look at the competition that you're going to go see. Catch momentum, figure out how not to drop a bad loss or not to have a bad loss, and capitalize off of that window. Will, that plays a huge part in Super Bowl windows.
Right.
Who you're playing. Because going out to the NFC West at one point in time, was bad.
So look at the differences between the 49ers schedule and the Lions schedule this upcoming season. The 49ers, in addition to playing the NFC West at home, all they have to do is play the Falcons, Panthers, Jags, Titans, and Bears. That's their home slate. Yeah. In addition to the NFC West, they go to New Orleans, Indy, Giants, Browns, Bucks. Like, that's not difficult.
No.
Compare that to the NFC North that has to play the AFC North and the NFC East. The Detroit Lions away games next year, in addition to their own division.
Yeah.
Washington, Philly, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Kansas City, LA. Every single one of those teams had a winning record last season.
Mm-hmm.
So, honestly, 10-7 in the NFC North is the equivalent to about 12 wins in the NFC West. You should get rewarded for surviving that schedule and winning your division, and you should not be seeded third or fourth or fifth even just because you had to play a much more difficult schedule than somebody else.
No.
If you survive that and win your division at 9-8, you should get a bye.
You should be battle tested. Like that comes along with it. Now, there's also points to where you have a like a real easy slate. You better go win. Like, I knew times where we were like, yeah, this is the year. If we ever have a window, there's probably one team that we got to get past. Like, and it was New England, or if you had to go out to the West Coast and play, like 49ers is always a hard team, or Seattle to play at times. But look, if you could get past that bad slate of whatever division you were about to get,
right?
Like, those are the windows you speak of. Like, I look at Minnesota, what you just said about them. 10 wins, especially with a second-year quarterback in the first year. Yeah. I'm not sure what the over-under is going to be, but it's not what you expected to be what it was last year.
Really
right?
hard schedule.
Yeah.
So at this point, one of two things needs to happen. Either you do this rule and you change the scheduling process and you play more teams in the AFC, or if you're an NFC team, you play more teams in the NFC to balance the schedules out more. Mm-hmm. That way you can't have this big of a difference between what the NFC West is playing and what the NFC North is playing. Or you just keep things the way they are.
I ain't gonna lie. You shouldn't be able to do that. Like, go beat everybody and see them in the playoffs. Right. That's all you want is the ability to snap your ticket and get into the playoffs.
I don't think there's any reason to change any of it.
Yeah, no.
At this point.
Detroit, don't start getting cocky. Okay, just because you guys are winning right now, don't start getting cocky now.
I know, honestly. So, interesting. It would make things more challenging for them next season if their rule passed.
You know who that affects more, though? Ownership. Ain't no way ownership allows that, because hosting that playoff game as a division winner, buku's
well, that's why they want it. Oh, because they're like, well, what if we lose the division? We still want to host a playoff game because we're better than the
Tampa.
NFC South win.
Yeah, no, but like Tampa is not going to get with that. Like,
right, exactly.
Yeah, that's infighting at that point.
Totally. 615-737-1045. Yesterday, I told you where upsets could happen in the NCAA tournament. I swung and I missed. And then I got it to the plate again. I swung and I missed. And then one final time, no, you retired the side in order, NCAA tournament. I get my get back today. Where is their upset potential in day 2 of the NCAA tournament? I'm going to tell you next.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Hey, it's Will Bowling for my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center. Now that March is here, the weather is warmer. We're headed to the pool. We're headed to the beach. I want to tell you about a revolutionary new product, the Phonak Sphere, which is not only designed to help you hear when there's background noise, but when you're outside, when you're going to the pool, to the beach, you're making that spring break trip, you also have a completely waterproof hearing aid. It's the only one on the market. Whether you're working up a sweat in the yard, maybe you're mowing the lawn, or enjoying those water activities this time of year, there's no longer a need to remove your hearing aids. That's right. You can be splashing around. You can still continue the conversation. And for a demonstration, you got to give my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center a call. 615-377-0420. You can visit them online as well at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. This is the kind of technology you get when you trust the folks with the best technology on the market. Conveniently located right off the Brentwood Old Hickory exit off I-65. Check them out online, BrentwoodHearingCenter.com, 615-377-0420. That's Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing, better life. Good morning for the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Will Bowling. The Titans making a move yesterday, signing veteran edge rusher Lorenzo Carter, a third-round pick of the 2018 NFL Draft out of Georgia. Carter has played his career for the Giants from 2018 to 2021 and the Falcons since 2022. Last season, Carter played in 13 games with 11 starts. The former Bulldog has 7 sacks in the last 3 seasons. The Tennessee Volunteers began their NCAA tournament with a win yesterday, 77-62 over 15-seed Wofford. The Vols led wire to wire, claiming a spot in the round of 32 for a 4th straight season. Chaz Lanier led the way with 29 points. That's the 3rd most by a Vol in NCAA tournament history. In the SEC yesterday, Arkansas outlasted Kansas 79-72. Former Vol Jonas Adu had 22 points to lead the way for the Razorbacks. Texas A&M beat Yale 80-71 behind 25 points from Pharrell Payne. Auburn also booked a ticket to the second round with a win over Alabama State, while Georgia and Missouri bow out of the tournament. Today, Vanderbilt takes the floor against 7-seed St. Mary's. That one's at 2:15. It's the first time the Commodores have played in the Big Dance since 2017. Coverage of the NCAA tournament begins here in the Zone at 11 a.m., courtesy of Westwood One. For all your foundation, repair, and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee as hour 3 in the second half of your Friday morning begins right now. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling waking up with you. Kayla's got the morning off. She'll be back with us next week. 615-737-1045 is the number. Ramon, I just saw an excellent tweet that I want to share with you.
Man, please let it be
I've
excellent.
saved this for on air. We don't call it X posts. We call them tweets. Mid-Major Madness yesterday says Drake is 26-1 when leading at halftime. Patrick Netherton on Twitter says the one loss was actually the Super Bowl halftime show. Dang. That's tough.
It's not enough.
Drake just minding his own business. Crowbar.
Man.
How can we make this about you?
Where's Kendrick at when you need him, right?
I know.
Golly. Yeah, I mean, that was a major L that was spoken about in the music
Tweeted that,
world.
was ready to squabble up.
He was. Look at you. Look at you. You
Looks like a proud older brother every time I make any kind of reference.
Every time Will shows his cultural side, I love it, man. You know what? Your parents going to have to turn your TV off at the end of this thing, okay? Turn this TV off. All right now. Big time. Shout out to Drake, though. It was a good game. I did not expect Missouri to go down like that, but legitimately, that team played lights out. They led at the half and also just continued to swarm them. When you chasing like that, I love a good comeback story. Like, unless you're that much more talented is the thing. Like, teams that make comebacks and actually win are very talented. Usually the teams that are very even with one another, like, the comeback is good and it's exciting for entertainment.
Sure.
But at a certain point in time, you just run out of gas.
Totally. No doubt. Today, you got any upsets for us? Because I've got 2 that I love today.
2 that you love.
So fade me, because yesterday I was awful.
It was upset just because they looked like they had really punched the clock the way they needed to. Is this North Carolina Ole Miss?
Interesting. Yeah, that's a fascinating matchup.
Yeah. That one, and seeing if Oklahoma can hang with UConn, like, a part of me liked Dan Hurley, and I'm glad there's more cameras on him so we get a chance to see him, because I love that dog attitude that he got, or just that don't give a doggone attitude. Sure. But seeing if Oklahoma can upset them would please me, I'll be honest with you at this point. Not that he needs to be humbled, because he's a damn good coach, but I kind of want to see that kind of fall off a little bit this year.
Sure. I'm totally with you. The big one is Colorado State, Memphis. And Memphis, a guard-heavy team. Tyrese Hunter and P.J. Haggerty is electric. Certainly for a Tigers team that is not very big.
Right.
But They got a lot of experience. One of the older teams in college basketball, sixth oldest team in college basketball, according to experience on their roster. They average just over 3 years of experience. Memphis does as a squad. Colorado State and Nick Clifford, 6'6" guard, a tremendous athlete, and a taller Colorado State team than what Memphis has going on. Colorado State projected to win this one as the 12 seed by Ken Pom by a point. I know Vegas has been all over Colorado State. These games almost worry me, Ramon. Like the slam dunk 12-5 upset, I feel like is the one that rarely happens. And then it's the one you thought wasn't going to happen that ends up happening. And I overthink these things every single year.
That's the reason it's madness, Will. I'll be honest with you. Selfishly, I do want to see Penny win this one because a part of me knows he's a good coach. It's a matter of his program has just been hit with recruits that can't make it on campus, guys transferring out, the sanctions they've had against them. I kind of want to see that one go Memphis's way. And I heard Savage doing a good breakdown on him yesterday, too. He had posted to his social media account. So, again, the more representation we have out of the state of Tennessee, cool. Penny's Memphis, the country of Memphis' own, Tennessee's own, man. It's hard for me to root against Penny because watching him grow up and, like, be who he was like NIL before NIL started with the, who was he selling cold delis with? Was it Oscar Mayer, I think it was, with Penny?
This is out of my depth.
I think it was at the time we was growing up. But I'm rooting for Penny on this one. I kind of want to see him dog Colorado State out, though.
So I've got the Rams in that one. I think Colorado State against a Memphis team that many people thought should have been seeded an 8 or a 9.
Yeah. They won a tournament, though.
Colorado State, maybe the strongest 12 seed in the field as well. There is another game, though, a little bit off the beaten path. Probably not one you thought about was going to be terrific. I think Akron and Arizona is going to be one of the best games of the day. 6:35, fire up True TV and stay on there for Impractical Jokers after it's over. Right. Akron and Arizona are two of the fastest tempo teams in college basketball. Akron, the 16th fastest pace in the country for the Zips, who zip it up and down the floor. Arizona comes in at 54th. You win with guards this time of year.
Yeah.
Akron's got two really good ones. Nate Johnson averages 14 a game. Tavari Johnson averages 13 a game. Johnson & Johnson, a family basketball company. I think Akron is going to be the 13 seed that wins. Yeah. Give me Akron over Arizona. 6:35. Caleb Love, who's still playing basketball, by the way, for the Arizona Wildcats. Yes.
Oh, my gosh. How old is he, like 28?
Sure, probably. He's probably about my age. 4 seeds versus 13 seeds since 2018 have lost 7 times. 7 times. Interesting. Wow. People think about the 5-12 matchup as the one where the 12 seeds are often those popular upset picks. Mm-hmm. Only one more win for 4 seeds than 5 seeds. Yeah. Over the last, 7 seasons now since 2018. So 5 seeds have lost 8 times in that time. 4 seeds have lost 7 times. I think this is the one.
Speaking of 4-13s, this Grand Canyon, they have a good program, by the way, too. They have a good program. Now, them and Maryland. Maryland has its question marks and stuff like that, but that one's another one I have my eye on as it pertains to the University of Grand Canyon. Like, one, going out there, seeing how big their following is in Arizona was eye-opening to me. But I definitely want to see what Maryland does against them if they're just going to run away with them, because that crowd has a lot of pride in from what I saw from just being out there last week. I think it was a conference championship last week. That one's going to be fascinating. I'll have that one on the multi-view too, Will.
3:35 on TBS, Maryland and the Antelopes of Grand Canyon. I just love the random nicknames you get. Like last night I was cheering for the Tritons, who I also had upsetting Michigan. That one was the New Zealand guy that we talked about yesterday, Tate Jones. I mean, just electric. If you had bet it over-under on the amount of players I called electric also in the round 1 of the NCAA tournament, I hope you bet the over. But the Crab 5 against the Canyon.
Yeah.
Look, the aura of having a group of players named the Crab Five.
No, seriously.
That's enough to push Maryland over the edge.
The way they come up with that is, I love that, the Crab Five versus the Canyon.
Their coach, by the way, too, yesterday pulled a Brian Kelly. Did you see that video?
No, what'd he do?
Basically told everyone that in order for him to re-sign an extension, he's going to have to get more money from his school.
Oh.
Do you see this video? Maybe we can pull the audio to play later in the hour. Basically went on this long rant. Look, it worked for Brian Kelly. He got Bryce Underwood after he got his boosters to get their crap together and get their pocketbooks together.
Yeah,
he makes this comment because he's been linked to a lot of these open jobs. And he goes, well, there's going to have to be changes in the program because last year I was told I couldn't celebrate Christmas with my team one extra night in New York because it was too expensive.
Oh, Lord.
So I'm always interested to see how much that motivates the players on the team or motivates the athletic department. Right. But I like Maryland in that one. But Bryce Drew in Grand Canyon, he's got it going on over there.
Yeah. Locally, real quick, hard for Lipscomb to get over Iowa State.
I tell you what, though, Iowa State's banged up, and that's a really experienced Lipscomb team that's got some size. Iowa State, I mean, the brand of basketball they play, they are also so physical and so good defensively always. Under that coaching staff and just their style, but they're banged up. They're not healthy.
That's why I'm asking that question now. Lipscomb's no throwaway.
No, they're not.
There's no throwaway.
No, they're not. It still sticks with me that what Casey Alexander said at the beginning of this season. We previewed Battle of the Boulevard, and he said, this might be the best Lipscomb team ever.
I remember.
And Belmont was able to have a crazy late comeback to beat him this past year. And Casey would know, considering he's coached on both sides of that rivalry and played in it as well. But, that one is not one to forget about. 12:30 Iowa State Lipscomb today should be really fun. And credit to what Lenny Acuff has with that Bison's program. He's done a tremendous job there.
Yeah, no. And Vandy.
Vandy St. Mary's, that's right. 2:15.
Yeah, no, real quick. I know we're up against it. Yes or no to Vandy? They getting it?
I don't know what kind of Vandy shows up today, but I'm really interested because if they get hot, I mean, if they shoot the ball what they are capable of doing, they could win 2 games.
And if they're big plays away, if he plays away, he play against Tennessee.
Yeah, like Jalen
being
Carey.
a little bit of an agitator.
Right.
Yeah, doing the dirty work. Yeah, and they got a shot. Them versus St. Mary's ain't bad.
Oh, no doubt.
No
doubt. Should be a fun day. Hopefully, I pick way too many upsets every year, but Akron.
Chaos.
Akron and Colorado State, the 2 I'm on today.
Okay.
Those are my 2. So hopefully I won't lose people the U.S. currency that I lost them yesterday here on this radio program. I told you to bet Wofford against the spread, though. That one worked out. Coming up, we are going to watch the film on Cam Ward. Ramon Foster has observations. There are good things. There are bad things. Ramon's red flags and green flags on the guy who's most likely going to be your next quarterback in Cam Ward next.
It's Ramon Foster for United Structural Systems. Good people, y'all know they are the company to go to when it comes to foundation repair or waterproofing, man. Well, you don't have to hear from me. Hear from Matthew in Lafayette, man. He said this about his process with United Structural Systems. He said, I went through the process extremely stressed out, feeling like my home was falling apart and going to financially break me. I got multiple quotes from multiple companies. Not only did USS provide a substantial lower quote, but they spoke to me in a way that I could understand the problems that I was experiencing. They didn't try to upsell me or talk me into things I did not need. Once scheduling got a hold of me, they had the workers on scene within days to repair my home. He said, man, this is one of the best experiences he's ever had. Whether it be your foundation or waterproofing, man, listen to me. You don't want to go through the expensive process. USS is the company to go to. If you have any waterproofing or structural issues around your home, reach out to USS at USSTN.com, USSTN.com, or call them 615-488-7855, United Structural Systems.
Hey, it's Will Bowling. If you've been looking for cars and see the words buy here, pay here, well, I'm here to tell you about the place you can trust and need to check out. That's right, Nolensville Road Auto Mart. This is the place that I would go if I was looking for a car right now. Whether you are looking for that first car for the new driver in your family, maybe you're just new to town, you need a place to trust. Nolensville Road Auto Mart, they have been doing business in Nashville for 61 years. And like me, they're Nashville natives. So you don't need to take my word for it. Go check the Google reviews as well. That's saying something for a car dealership. Such a good reputation with that one location off Nolensville Road, close to Thompson Lane. They're going to pride themselves on getting you in and out in an hour or less. And the best part, they're the oldest buy here, pay here in Nashville. They will work with your own financing if you got it as well. Flexibility, transparency, and honesty. That's why I recommend Nolensville Road Auto Mart. Give them a call, 615-242-1279. That's Nolensville Road Auto Mart at 615-242-1279. RKW is brewed by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app today to order ahead. Save $2 on your first mobile order. 615-737-1045. We can confirm that Ron Slay has touched down at Cumulus Nashville headquarters here in the 104.5 The Zone studio.
And where is he at?
One room aside from us. I think he's on.
He's in the building. He's in the building.
Oh, that's right. He's in the building.
I missed out.
I can't pull that off like he can. That's fair. You will hear from him soon. He's here early, so we'll put him on as soon as he wants to be put on.
And we might have to call back Hubbs too. My bad. I'm being an amateur
talking
like
with your
crazy.
mouth full. That's crazy.
I know I'm being an amateur like crazy right now.
It's all right. It's okay. There's probably a lot of people that rather hear you talk with your mouth full than me talk with my mouth empty.
No,
That's okay.
I mean, you get a lot of praise in these streets, Will. I won't lie.
No, that's fine. Not about
I'm going to say it on air, man. I have a lot of people say, Will Bowling's talented. I was like, no, he sucks,
I was
man.
not
He
fishing
sucks.
for that.
Trust me, I tell him all the time, it's like, no, he's not that good.
Was that? As you should.
No, I'm playing. It's the opposite.
I love it. Cam Ward, Ramon Foster, is going to be the Titans quarterback. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's just be honest.
As far as we know right now, all signs point in that direction. It seems to me the Titans are operating in a very simple way right now, which is good. Simple is good. KISS, right?
Absolutely.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Hurts my feelings every time.
I know. I'm not stupid. I'm trying to keep
it
simple here.
So I think it is a good time to reset into the week and look at what the tape shows on him from your perspective. Obviously, as someone who played 11 years in the league, we get a lot of lies, we get a lot of buzzwords, we get a lot of intangible conversation without really looking at the substance of who Cam Ward is as a prospect. You've watched some games. I've watched some as well. I'm going to defer more to your judgment considering you played, and I'll sprinkle in some of my observations as we go as well. But we have compiled some red flags and green flags for Cam Ward, the prospect. So where would we like to begin, Ramon? Do we want negativity or positivity to lead off this evaluation?
Positivity, man. Nobody comes for the negative all the time.
Let's do green flags. Well, this is radio. I don't know about that. Green flags. What is the number one green flag and thing that you look at Cam Ward and say, yep, that's a pro quarterback?
His ability to work in offense and also make it better is what I've seen from him at Miami.
Meaning working within a system, working within any system.
So this is in a system. Let's go specifically Miami system for 1 year. Who was we had on as far as I was talking to somebody separate. Speaking about Cam Ward and Miami's inability to find a quarterback, they haven't had a guy in years. They've had defensive ends, D tackles, wide receivers, corners. Tyler
Van Dyke.
I mean, all of these guys, right? Artie Burns went in the first round. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've had this for decades as far as skill. They have yet to hit on a quarterback, and he has been, since when? The early 2000s? The best quarterback prospect they've had in a single year. And I think that's a testament to him, the player, more than anything. The offense is established. They had to go hit the portal and find a guy that was going to work for them, right? The system was there, same head coach and all. He got there and worked within that offense and also made everybody around him better. That's where I see his professional just green flag be, I think, far and above what everybody else has going on right now. And I know Shedeur didn't have the same capabilities, and maybe Colorado didn't have the bag to go get the players that Miami did. Miami South Beach money is a little bit different from what we're seeing right now. But in that, he excelled. High check mark for me on that one.
He was a good fit in a Miami team that had very high expectations. And for me, I think they met them, right? Like, Miami was expected to be a college football playoff contending team last year. Mario Cristobal put together a really, really good offensive line. He had weapons. You had Xavier Restrepo. You had Jacoby George. You had Cam McCormick, the ninth-year tight end, in addition to Arroyo, the draft prospect tight end. So there were weapons there, and Cam Ward elevated those weapons into dudes that were household names. No doubt about it.
Very much so, man. And again, he didn't take away. He absolutely poured into him. Caleb's mentioned this time and time again, his ability to be a great teammate, awesome in the locker room. I had somebody also say, too, it was a former NFL quarterback I was asking this past weekend. Can't give it away, but he does stuff on networks from time to time. Local. Never mind. But he said this. He's like, when you talk to Cam Ward and the people that's been around him, he's like, he's got that crap about him. And I was just like, not an that word. It said the 4-letter S word. He's got some stuff around him. And that right there is what you need when it comes to playing quarterback, too. And specifically here in Nashville, this franchise needs somebody that's coming in with jumper cables. He has that. I don't give a care about what you think about me. I'm going to continually play my game and watch me make y'all better. And yes, I'm going to talk a little trash. And yeah, I got a little attitude about me. But guess what? Every successful quarterback I've known, Will, has a little bit of jerk in them. They do. I ain't going to lie to you. You got a nice guy quarterback, more times than not, they probably just good enough.
And I do like that about Cam Ward.
Yeah.
The culture of what the Titans have been under bad quarterbacks and a first-year head coach, all that changes when Cam Ward walks in.
100%.
Doesn't make him a perfect prospect,
no.
But the mentality and the I don't give a crap factor for Cam Ward comes at a good time for this organization.
Does. And also, too, let me add more football things to him. His processing is there. Although that's also a negative to me, too. But the arm is there and his processing is there. You see him working through the offense and progressions that he has as far as figuring out one's not there, two not there, and his ability to know that, look, I got to dump off at the running back at any point in time. He's very confident in his abilities, albeit not the fastest. I'm not sure what his 40 time is going to be if he even runs one. Doesn't matter. I mean, if he ain't Lamar Jackson, what are we talking about anyway when it comes to speed, right? Or Kyler Murray. And then I think this is an advantage for him also. His throwing technique is super unique. His ability to change his arm slot, throw from any angle, and also have power behind it, I think that's what you need. Specifically when we're speaking about where this Titans skill room is at right now, more than anything. Who are you throwing it to? Let's say if you do go get Traylon Burks, Traylon Burks is back out there. Can you force feed him the football in the ways that he can catch it? Right?
I don't know if I want to force feed Traylon Burks, but I see your point.
Too. Yeah, but what I'm saying is what he's going to be left to work with. His ability to be able to toss a pigskin around the football field, to me, I think is better than the other quarterbacks in there. Shador has a long, wind up to get his going. Sure. Okay. Cam has a real quick snap of the finger delivery.
He does look like a shortstop.
Yeah, yes.
When he's throwing it. I've seen that a lot. It's the 3/4 arm delivery, and it just snaps.
It does.
Out of his hand.
It snaps. His ability to throw across the middle, although he's 6'1", I thought he was honestly 6'3". He's teetering, I think, right at 6'2". But it all of that leads me to his negatives, too.
6'2", 223.
Was he 6'2"?
Yep.
Okay, I thought it was 6'1". But with that being said...
You're right. I'm looking at an outdated one.
It was 6. He's 6'1".
He's listed at 6'2" at Miami. The freaking AI overview on Google does not give you the best thing at first. Yes, NFL Combine, 6'1", 219.
6'1", okay. Yeah, so that plays a part into his negative sides, too. Now, it's easy to talk negative and it's positive. I would not try to be too negative about this, but here's the thing about the NFL. All of what I'm saying is what teams are going to want to break down for him as far as the game planning goes. The bad that I saw in the Virginia Tech game, who else did I say? He couldn't see the blitz from the front side, off the right tackle side. He got tricked, I felt 3-4 times on his tape to where he was pressurized and didn't feel it, or either didn't see the front side linebacker blitz up the middle off the right, which is kind of weird, honestly, because most times you don't feel the blitz from the left side if he's a right-handed quarterback. He was getting sacked from the front side, and that was just okay, well, did you not scan the way you needed it to and blitzing moments? Because they were passing moments. 2nd and 9, 3rd and 8 were the situations he's put himself in, and the ability to feel those pressures right there, specifically if JC is on the right side.
Sure, JC Latham.
He's going to have an adjustment period too. And that's what you don't need showing up again from the college to the NFL of being able to feel and get away from those front side blitzes. And when he felt that, he continued to roll right and tried to find somebody downfield. And one of those times he ended up pulling the Levis where he's going down to the ground, toss it up in the air for a fumble.
Yeah, against Virginia Tech specifically, there was a play where he's getting brought down in the pocket.
Yeah.
And as he's kind of belly flopping down to the grass, underhand tosses the ball forward to try to just scoop it ahead to his check down, and it's a fumble, and Virginia Tech recovers it. You have those plays, and then you also have a play where as he's being pulled backwards, he chest passes the ball forward to, I believe, it was either Arroyo or McCormick, who runs down the sideline, sets them up for a game-winning touchdown in the final minute.
Exactly.
So there are times on film when he turns it over and does the dumbest possible thing in the last second. But you can live with those more because he also makes some pretty incredible throws at the end of those plays as well.
Yes, he does. And I do think he has, Will, that winner effect too. You know how some people just win at certain stuff? The games he had against Cal, Virginia Tech.
He found a way.
He found a way.
Yep.
Even if they went into extra innings and there was luck involved in it.
Until you've been watching a lot of baseball, extra innings.
No, I'm telling you. Oh, I said extra innings?
Yeah, you did.
I did?
A lot of youth baseball for Ramon Foster this time of year.
Yeah, my mind is different right now. But with that being said, that plays a part in the championships to me too.
It does, 100%. He found a way to win a lot of games that they probably had no business winning.
None.
The thing about Cam Ward that I think makes him different from Levis, because yes, he has some Levis kinds of mistakes. Ramon, how many plays can we think of where Levis improvised and did something good in a Titans jersey?
Bro. Not many. The last game of the season, I mean, what Bryce Oliver catching that? Like,
but the point was, like, Levis's best moments were on schedule primary reads.
Facts.
Where he could air it out and show off his arm strength.
Yeah.
That, to me, is where, when people make the comparison between Levis and Ward, it breaks down. Because Cam Ward, yes, has some Levis moments at the ends of plays, but he also has good moments that I've never seen from Levis at the end of plays. And that is where you get, I think, more of the Josh Allen element. Again, not making a one-to-one comparison to Cam Ward to Josh Allen, but you can live with Josh Allen's bad moments because he gives you so many good ones at the ends of plays as well, to the point where, like, you don't want to coach out the backyard football because sometimes the backyard football gets you a 40-yard bomb or a scramble for a touchdown. So, Ramon, do you see a scenario where the Titans can allow Cam Ward to be the best version of himself and let him improvise a little bit while coaching out some of the bad decisions at the same time? Because to me, that's the ultimate question with Cam Ward.
His bad decisions to that point, though, aren't just like the silly, stupid. Like, that some of them have some of that component to it. But his need to be, you know what? Just take the sack. You know what? That's way too long in the pocket right there. You should have ran sooner. Yes, you have that ability, Will, to coach that out of him, but I don't feel as egregious about Cam Ward as I do, like, going into, if we got to go into this year 3 with Levis, like, I'm just like, I don't know if you can do that. With him, I feel like he can. And also his mindset of being able to be malleable, too, is, I think, a whole lot better than what we got out of Levis is at that point.
Yeah.
With what you're asking Cam Ward to do as far as, like, the short game, intermediate game, and down the field, I feel like it's naturally a part of his game. I feel like Will Levis's short game isn't necessarily part of his. He's got to drive it into being his, too. The other part about allowing Cam Ward, if he is selected here, to be himself is, what did Callahan learn? Like, are you really going to govern, like, just govern down his abilities because you're skittish of what Levis did to you last year?
You can't just try to make him Joe Burrow.
Right.
Like you did with Will Levis.
And on the other side of that, you can't force Cam Ward, if he's drafted here, to not try to be like Jaden Daniels in a sense, because the dynamic stuff you got out of Jaden Daniels, I feel like was on schedule as far as the plays, and he just continued to pat the ball, and did something unique with his legs.
Sure.
That's what he doesn't have more than anything, that if you're trying to compare or want Jaden Daniels, you're not going to get that explosiveness.
Eric on YouTube writes in and says, I'm not saying that Cam Ward is not a winner, but if your evidence of him being a winner is that he needed extra time to beat Cal and West Virginia, what does that say?
That's what I said a second ago. That type of stuff right there, that luck is how you win championships too. So I can look at that and say, well, he needed extra time to beat Cal and other teams this year. I can also say to myself, he found a way to win.
And that I think is the thing. Like, his defense put him in situations where, against lesser opponents, he had to go be Superman.
Yeah, he did.
And it's not his fault that his defense could not stop a nosebleed a season ago. The same way we talked about Caleb Williams a year ago, saying like, well, how much of a winner is he if all he can do is go, 8-4? Well, he's not playing DB too.
Exactly.
He's not a two-way player.
And again, here's the thing. At the end of the day, and I know you got more context right there, Eric, but like the schedule shows a W. Right? That's better than saying, man, we almost won that one. And I feel like that's where, as of late, from even Tannehill to Levis to Mason to Malik, you hadn't found yourselves in a situation where you say, boy, we pulled that one out.
Right.
Like Cam Ward has done that with his school. And not only just that, man, like the teams that he's played and beat. Like he spoke about beating Florida, an SEC team that took QT, you know what I'm saying, down to the finish when it comes down to it. Like he's played high caliber squads where I think it's a little bit different than others as it pertains to what you're going to be asking him to do here in Nashville.
Right. If you want to really watch a show, watch his second half against Florida. I've watched every throw of that game, Duke and Virginia Tech, over the last week or two. I guess that was a week ago. I watched that. That's a different Florida team than what Tennessee saw late in the year, to be fair. That Florida team was bad early in the season.
Early in the season.
They were young. They were untested. They didn't know who they were yet as an offense or really as a defense. And that Miami offensive line, like I almost had to throw out a lot of that game.
Yeah.
Because the Florida defensive line got no pressure on Cam Ward at all.
No.
And that was a good Miami O-line last season.
That's another negative for me. He dances in the pocket.
A lot.
He does. Can you get rid of the ball? No, that's one of the negatives I got for him. Know how to get out of trouble.
That's my biggest question mark for him.
Know how to get out of trouble for him because the NFL, I'm not sure who's got even Philly breaks down like that.
Right.
You know, like I've seen the best offensive lines get dogged, and his talent that he had at Miami is way different than everybody else on the offensive line is what I'm getting at. You're not going to get that game one in the NFL unless this line just really takes it to that next level. My last one, though, it sucks to say, scared he ain't going to be Shedeur, or if Shedor's better. Like the number one overall pick, and Shedeur goes at 20. Let's go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Or anywhere else.
Feels like his floor, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he gets past them.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think he gets past Cleveland, to be fair.
Well, like, I'm being honest, I'm living in my fears on this one. If he's not the guy that you want him to be, right, should you have waited till next year to go get your guy? There's always that when you need so much for this franchise.
That is the risk you take when you invest in any quarterback. Are you willing to take the public hit of picking the wrong road to walk down as a franchise?
Josh Rosen. I mean,
at least they got a chance to fix it when they got Kyler Murray a year later. But yeah, no, for sure. The biggest question I have for Cam Ward is, what is the outcome at the end of all that dancing and improvising? Because if it's like Miami, I think we've got something here. Because then you talking about the Steve McNair comparisons, which I think is a fair one. But if at the end of all that dancing around and running around, you throw picks and you take hits and you get hurt, then I think we're talking about, well, hey, should the Titans go take a quarterback again next year with Arch Manning available? How much time does he need? He is going to need a lot of patience and a lot of time to adjust to professional football and bigger and stronger athletes that he can't just out-compete at the end of plays. When he's in structure, I think he's got a really solid arm. I think he's accurate outside the numbers for what I watch. But he has not played within a structure of an NFL offense. I'm not saying he hasn't played within a structure of any offense. The structure of an NFL scheme. And that's the leg up Shedeur Sanders has over him. Shedeur Sanders has been coached by Pat Shurmur. Shedeur Sanders has been learning NFL schemes since the day he got to Jackson State. And that's my concern about Cam Ward is, can you adjust the good parts of the backyard football to bigger and stronger athletes and be true to yourself, but also become more of a pocket passer as well within the process?
And as Shedeur said, too, can he handle that pressure?
Right. No doubt. 615-737-1045, your chance to react to any of that conversation. Again, Ramon, I know we've hit the nail on the head because we have people saying we are being too critical and then people saying that we are loving on Cam Ward too much.
Yeah.
Congratulations to us. A good conversation. More coming up, including the Maryland coach complaining publicly to his university that you'll need to hear next.
We've got the trucks, all the trims, all the towing, all the bells and whistles, and all at Truck Month Savings. Two Rivers Ford is Ford Truck Central.
RKW Brew by Scooters Coffee, wrapping up hour number 3. We can confirm Ron Slay has touched down at Cumulus Nashville. And is going to join us for the final hour talking hoops.
Might have to call Hubbs back, man.
That's right.
And guess what?
Guess
What? See, and this is what y'all
there
got
he is
to
right now.
understand. My bad, Will Lee.
Hey, you're good.
But I'm going to jump on in this thing. This is what y'all got to understand. See, it ain't really aimed at Hubbs.
I know.
What it is aimed at is, though, the people that do forget. Hubbs is one of the few that remember him, Chris Lowe. And my gripe is, every team, just like Coach Barnes said, nobody remembers the runner-up. The runner-ups to championship teams don't get invited back. But
I hate that.
the champions do.
Yeah.
So I say that to say, there's only one team in Tennessee history that hasn't been invited back. And that's the team that was coached by Jerry Green. Wow. Now, I understand this ain't Deacon Barnes. I get that. This ain't Bruce Pearl, the politician.
Right.
Totally get that. But what shouldn't be forgotten is what was laid down as far as that foundation goes by the people that were right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Our group. Man, that man only had 4 years. So with Tennessee basketball history, it's been 4 National Coaches of the Year. 2 of them were Pearl. One was Rick Barnes. The other was Jerry Green.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. You feel like, now did he do things right? Hell no. It was Hubbs right?
The Kmart line was
go to
crazy.
Kmart. Like he was serious. He literally said that if you don't like the way I coach or the way my team plays, you don't got to come here. Go to Kmart.
And some took that to heart.
You were supposed to, in a sense. Like, who the hell you talking to, dog? This is when boosting was boosting. Like, you got to sue. That's why the doors open for Bruce to come in, and they were waiting on. You know what I mean? Just sitting back, like, okay, you want what you want to do?
Yeah.
You want to talk good? You rub our back a little bit? You want to talk to us the way we want to be talked to give you some money to get a Pratt Pavilion?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, we need that. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, don't punish the guys that came along just because of what he was doing. So when he say forgotten, that was a bad year. 92 to 96 was terrible.
Yeah.
But 98, after Kevin O'Neal left to 01, 02, whatever it was when Coach Green was there, that was different. Them black curtains was taken down.
Yes,
the excitement was back. It wasn't football and then wait, man, what we gonna do till football spring game?
We were in TBA.
It was on.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But it was laid down because we were sitting in the stands while my freshman year watching after already 2 tournaments and bringing in this class, 5-star class, top 10 in the nation, 5 freshmen coming in to this class to add to what Coach Green already had. We sitting in the stands and kneeling, watching them highlight videos like, hey, dog, hey, come on, man. We gotta be a part of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it wasn't no lie. When Vincent Yarbrough and all of them came on, Isaiah Victor, they wasn't lying. Like, I ain't gonna toot my horn a lot. I'm tooting my damn horn today. This is what I'm telling y'all.
I love it.
The school wasn't the school as far as competition was across the landscape when it was gonna be brash.
Right.
Lady Vols could walk around and talk that.
Yeah, they could.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they could.
The football team could walk around and talk that ish. That's what it was. Track could. Baseball could. Okay. Basketball, really, they were doing it, but nobody wasn't saying nothing.
Right.
When I got there, y'all damn well better recognize when we walk in the campus.
Became a big national brand.
You know what it is.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So don't nobody got to say nothing. I got it all. Yeah. And I'm going to say it, and we going to back it up. And if y'all don't back it up with me, I stand out here and look like the fool. You want your boy to look like a fool?
No.
Or you want to go battle with me? They battled with me.
I love it.
So that's where it was. That's all I'm saying. Like, Allen Houston, that was the last All-American you had. That was the last one.
Yep.
The next one was me.
2-time SEC Player of the Year.
Like, come on, like, this is, you got to be, like, don't forget about that. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yes, it was a dark age when Buzz got there. And we had to get Bruce, you know what I'm saying? Then it got revitalized again. Yep. But don't forget about that 4-year span is all I'm saying. It was another team ranked 4th in the nation. It was another, like, you feel what I'm saying? Like,
100%.
Man, we ain't won no SEC championship since 80s. 81, 82 to be exact.
Yeah.
All the way to 99, 2000. Like Juvenile said, this the 99, 2000. You feel me?
And Brent Hubbs, you're right that Hubbs gets it.
He
and
knows.
what Hubbs was saying earlier is like,
what I'm saying.
Hubbs was characterizing how the fan base feels, which is that Tennessee basketball started after Buzz Peterson.
Yeah.
Like it took this hiatus from Ray Mears And the reset of Buzzball was so bad that Bruce Pearl started all of it. Like, don't let Buzzball get in the way of how good you guys were.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to say this part, but I will. A good way to honor those teams, Tennessee, hang 35 in the rafters.
It's like,
Hang 35 in the rafters.
Dude,
For real.
That needs to happen. It really does. It absolutely does. You meet the criteria. You're a multiple-time SEC Player of the Year. You're an All-American.
Just once. I was just once.
Those teams.
Yep.
Okay. Still, best in the world.
I'm with you.
At that point.
All-American.
And All-American.
and SEC.
Graduate. Checked every box.
Did it in 3.5 years. That's why I respect what Zakai Ziegler is doing so much, man.
Yeah.
The level he's playing at, he did that in 3.5 years.
Wow.
When you look at the records that were broken by Santi, who played 6 years.
He might get 300 assists this year.
Like, dude, this is nuts if you think about like what he's doing. 3.5. He's on the heels of guys like Kareem Reed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, this is a legend.
Sean Tui.
How about you feel me? Which you may not never catch because of his is just so outlandish.
No, he's only got like 4 more. For single season.
Exactly.
Single season.
I was talking all-time list.
I think,
That's my bad.
if he gets 7, he has. I'll double check.
Dog, it's nuts, man. But that's pretty dope. And that's all I'm saying, man.
Y'all
like,
haven't been back yet? I know we up against
man,
y'all.
So,
we
We got to make that happen.
it just so happened when we were honored, it was during COVID. And we did it on Zoom. Don't nobody remember that stuff.
No, that's true.
The conversation that was had at the end of that Zoom is, when this is lifted, man, we're going to make sure to bring y'all back. And I'm doing this on behalf of, not me, because I'm cool.
Sure, right.
I know what to do.
Right.
I got a platform to talk.
100%.
But my dogs,
CJ Black.
man, these records that was held, CJ Black, ain't no ease pawns with him. CJ Black in this league? Come on, dog.
Yeah, he could.
Vincent Yarbrough?
A lot of dudes who would have been
Tony
awesome
Harris?
in today's era of basketball.
Like, we've been seeing McDonald's All-American. In that 4-year span, all SEC got. Come on, dog. What are we talking about?
It was a sad day in Memphis when Tony Harris got out of Memphis and headed to Tennessee. That was a rough day in West Tennessee.
Dog, that was it was Penny Hardaway getting Tony Harris.
It was Kennedy Chandler before Kennedy Chandler.
Come on, dog.
When he chose Tennessee. All right, we'll talk more about that. Hey, putting 35 in the rafters would be a great way to bring that team back to Knoxville is all I'm saying.
Put it in the message boards. That's where it starts, baby. Let's go.
1,000%. All right, hour 4 next. We will hear from the Maryland head coach, Kevin Willard, who had an awesome rant that I loved this week. We'll break down Tennessee Wofford, look ahead to Tennessee UCLA, an hour of hoops with Ron Slay because everybody else is vacation, but we're working, dang it. Next.
It's officially truck month at Two Rivers Ford, and hot off the press, man, Two Rivers Ford has just announced 2.9% financing for 72 months on all remaining 2024 F-150s. Y'all, this is huge, the best truck on the road, man. That 2.9% APR for 72 months when you finance through Ford Credit. At Two Rivers Ford, guess what? They got hundreds of trucks. They have over 200 F-150s in stock, the largest stock anywhere, and the non-commissioned sales team will make sure you find exactly what you're looking for. And when it comes to the price, Two Rivers Ford sales at invoice. It's that simple, too. And it's that great of a deal. No hassles, no haggling, no bait and switch. Ask me how I know, because I dealt with Two Rivers Ford exactly like that. So you'll get a great price on your new truck from Two Rivers Ford and take advantage of truck month savings now through March 31st. It's truck month at Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Just after 9 o'clock, good morning for the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Will Bowling. The Titans make a move yesterday, signing veteran edge rusher Lorenzo Carter. The former Georgia Bulldog third-round draft pick in 2018 has played for the Giants and Falcons. Last season, he made 13 appearances and 11 starts for Atlanta. He has 7 sacks in the last 3 seasons. Tennessee last night begins their NCAA tournament journey with a victory. 77-62 over 15-seed Wofford. The Vols led wire to wire, claiming a spot in the round of 32 for a 4th straight season. Nashville's own Chaz Lanier leads the way with 29 points, the 3rd most by a Vol in NCAA tournament history. In the SEC yesterday, Arkansas outlasted Kansas 79-72. Former Vol Jonas Adu had a good performance, 22 points to lead the way for the Razorbacks. Texas A&M beats Yale 80-71 behind 25 points from Pharrell Payne. Auburn beats Alabama State despite a slow start, while Georgia and Missouri bowed out of the tournament. 104.5 The Zone's coverage of the NCAA tournament continues in just 2 hours. Westwood One coverage takes over on The Zone at 11 a.m. And also today, Vanderbilt takes the floor against 7-seed St. Mary's at 2:15, the first Commodores NCAA tournament game since 2017. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. RKW is brewed up by Scooter's Coffee for one more hour on this busy March Madness week. 615-737-1045 is the number on a show that's streamed every day live on your smart device, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, and Ron Slay with you this morning. Kayla's got the day off, so we go on an hour-long hoops discussion.
Oh, this
with
is
our
good.
3HL and SEC network team.
No, you know what we said? Will actually hit me with it yesterday, and I meant to actually talk. Will was just like,
Shut up.
shit. What did he say? Will was just like, man, he doesn't have a show in the evening time, man. This might work out for him. He can get his opinions out with basketball. This is what you do.
This is it. Like this is the good energy I'm looking for on this good Friday morning.
Did y'all, before we get deeper into the specifics of it, did y'all like plan the season out as best, like as a team, to be like, hey, tournament, check? Like, can you say you had plans for making the tournament every year before the season started, or was it like midway through, like, fellas, we got to push to get better seeding at this point? How does that work for y'all?
So I think, man,
and also, does seeding matter to y'all?
Yeah, it does. Just because you want that high number beside your name. I think that for us was the main thing. And then to start out, I know our freshman year when I got involved with it, it was automatic too. Thinking like, you know what I mean, we're gonna make the tournament. Like, hell yeah, we're gonna make the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're trying to play close to home. That was our whole thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's why the seeding mattered the most. But we didn't go through the season checking out boxes, man. We just wanted to destroy everybody that we was gonna play. Like, that was our mentality. I'm telling you, like, if you understand the hip hop culture at the time, like, we were living like we were the Hot Boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's Cash Money Records,
Cash
Lil
Money.
Wayne, BG, Baby, Turk, Juvenile, like, and hey, this may sound crazy,
Y'all were
but that's,
loud.
this was us.
Up front.
Like, we adopted that. Like, we were wearing, if we didn't wear the team issue sweats, we were wearing Reeboks and Jabos.
Yeah.
On the road to
Jabot jeans.
Jabot jeans.
Yeah.
Jabot jeans, the long white T-shirts or black T-shirts, and we would always have one black glove on, you know what I mean? Because that was our motto. Like, we coming to bust a head and leave no fingerprints. This was our idea going on the road. So you got to understand, at that time in college, it was only probably 2 teams that kind of used that outlaw mentality. You know what I mean? And that was UNLV early on, and then Michigan coming later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the Fab Five.
Black shoes.
Yeah, that's the kind of mentality we were adopting. That's the kind of talent we had. You know what I mean? That's the kind of guys that we had that was leading us. And it didn't rub everybody the right way, because that wasn't the way it would go. That wasn't the way it was supposed to go. And then you couple that with having a coach that was like yeah, this is my team. What's up? You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, no, I'm not going to explain to you why my team plays like this or why I let them play like this. Or if you think you can do a better job, go apply. You know what I mean? That was our coach's mentality. You know what I'm saying? That was our coach's mentality. So we understood that rubbed people the wrong way. But as far as lining them up and knocking them down, dude, this honestly was the exact same thing that we saw the Lady Vols doing and the football team doing. Like, they had the same mentality. They just had a different spokesperson. You know what I'm saying? If it makes sense.
A more prominent one, just being honest with you.
And a person that can get their point across and knows how to communicate with the people that need to be communicated to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And make them fall in line. Like, we wasn't getting in trouble.
Right.
We wasn't getting arrested. We wasn't doing none of that stuff. You know what I mean? Not to point no fingers, but that's what was going on around us. You know what I mean? And that didn't never happen with us. But we just had, I'm telling you, we just had a black eye on us for what reason, I don't know. You know what I mean? But that's the way it was carried, and like, we embraced it. It was like we winning.
Y'all seem to be the opposite spectrum of what Bruce Pearl was. Or no, Rick Barnes.
Yeah.
Because it's the same intensity.
Yep.
Right? It's the same approach.
Yep.
It's just that you get, from what my understanding, very biblical with Rick.
Yep.
And you got ratchet
right
with Jerry Grant.
Oh, he ain't even going to say nothing, period.
He ain't going to say nothing, period.
He ain't got no time to talk to y'all. For
okay.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's just my responsibilities. And then also, you got to think where Coach Barnes is kind of where Coach Green was, as far as revamping your career and having that second life.
Remaking.
That's what Coach Green was coming into being able to do. Coach Barnes walked into that, coming into it, and was doing the same thing, and his was accepted a little different. But think about all the things that he'd been through. Like, he was gonna fight Cal.
Who?
Was it Cal? No, Coach K. He was gonna fight Coach
Jerry
K.
Green was?
No, Coach Barnes.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, he got a history
Dean
too.
Smith.
I mean, Dean Smith. That's
Dean
right,
Smith
Dean
was
Smith.
close at North Carolina.
I did hear that. Like, this that era they come from. You know what I mean? Coach Chaney wanted to go out and choke people. Like, this that era.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
this is a more mellowed out Rick Barnes at the end of his career.
You feel me? Like, the page has been turned in his career.
Yeah, right.
So it's accepted now. So it's like, oh, okay, this is what's
100%.
up. We welcome this in. The Bible Belt, all this. Okay, yeah, East Tennessee, Hickory, North Carolina.
Right.
Like, this is perfect. It was perfect timing.
Totally.
This is the page he came from. This is where Coach Green came from.
Yeah.
Totally.
Come from that North Carolina tree, Roy Williams tree, the Kansas tree. Like, this is what he know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just wasn't ready for that. Right. You know what I mean? Or you wasn't ready for them players for it to be a drastic change like that. You know what I mean? When you see somebody walking down the street, and you know who it is, you gonna know who we are too.
Right.
Yeah, we ain't won nothing yet, but we about to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just different, man. The delivery and everything, it was just different how it was accepted. And I ain't saying we did everything right, but I know one thing: we didn't get in trouble. We passed class and we won games.
And still upset. And y'all put guys in the pros too.
And on every all-SEC team list. You know what I mean? That's the same thing when you watch LSU, what they going through. Yeah. Like, a lot of people point back, man, what's my man name, man? The coach, Coach Bob Kessler just said it the other day. He used to coach for LSU. He's doing the radio broadcast now. Hell of a coach, man. But he
What
had...
era?
Who?
What era?
Big Baby Davis in there.
That was
right before he retired.
Butch Pierre, Trent Johnson, Johnny Jones.
Keep going.
John Brady.
John Brady's doing it now. But see, people forget they always lean on the Big Baby Davis and what's my guy Tyrus Thomas.
Tyrus Thomas.
Oh, they're so
they're like that. They're like that's the all hell LSU. Like, man, it was Stromae Swift and Jabari Smith before that.
That's true.
Torres Bright leading the country right up there in assists. Mm-hmm. Like, they been Ronald Dupree. Like, they was cold before they Collins Temple III. Like, they been getting guys, is what I'm saying, before Tasman Mitchell and them came along. But for some reason, that little era is forgotten about. I don't even think Florida gives their flowers to that roster of Mike Miller, Udonis Haslam, Teddy Dupay, Brett Nelson, Matt Bonner. Like, you keep going. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was Billy Donovan's group. But it's so overshadowed by what he did on the back-to-back national championship teams. Like, that team went to the finals, lost against Michigan State. So I don't know what it is about the era. That's why I was so hyped when Richard Hendricks got on because his overflowed into that era.
Sure did.
You know what I mean? Before it went dark and everything revamped in the SEC. I mean, it was like getting 3 teams in. So everybody was like, dang, okay, man, what is the SEC? Man, don't forget. Like what Cal said, don't throw the dirt on the coffin. Y'all ain't put no nails in. We can get out of this. You know that, don't you? We can create our own thriller video and climb up out the casket and show y'all what it really is. You know what I'm saying? And that was all through the SEC. So it is what it is, man. I just wanted it to be understood.
100%.
I got a text from East Tennessee.
What up?
Hubbs said he's listening to you preach right now.
You know I ain't lying.
He knows it for sure. Absolutely.
But see, them are the historians that understand it. Hubbs, CeeLo, Mike Strange, like all these guys, they understand, like, dang, they are kind of forgotten about. But it's so broad now when Sankey took over.
Right.
Slide was handing it to him. It's like, dog, y'all got to get this basketball thing going.
Right.
Too much football overshadowing this thing. You can't just be known as one thing in the conference.
That's true.
We seen it in the ACC that's going to die off soon. Then what you going to do? Now look at it. The tide rolls all boats. You know what I mean? All the ships out here, man, we big ships. You feel what I'm saying? We hanging off the side of it. We throwing hats when we gonna fight. You know what I mean? It's a party everywhere in the SEC because of that, though. But you can't have a party everywhere you go if you're gonna have that gap in between time after football to baseball. Ooh. You feel what I'm saying?
Totally.
Now that gap is full.
Totally. The SEC tournament for a while there just became a place where everyone would talk about their quarterback situation going into spring practice. And, and now the attention in the stands and in the atmosphere and in the conference matches the level of play on the floor.
That's all I'm saying.
And it's nice that it is starting to get that recognition. When we come back, I want to dive into all these SEC games that we watched yesterday. Obviously, we'll start with Tennessee and Wofford. We'll get Slay's thoughts of the matchup with UCLA, which is a really interesting mix of old school coaches and styles, I think, against the Bruins. Plus, maybe a look at some of the games today. We will hear from this Maryland coach at some point. Before I pass away, we will hear from Kevin Willard, the Maryland coach. We'll do that before the show is over as well. With Slay in studio talking hoops after this.
It's Ramon Foster for Secure Lawn. Good people, they service my yard. I think about last week, man. They know this. They know I obsessively care about my grass, man. My wife and my kids, my friends come by my yard and be like, man, you talk about this grass way too much. Well, guess what? I like it thick, I like it green, and I like it healthy, man. That's what Secure Lawn does for you. If you need somebody to cut your yard, this isn't the company. No, not them. They want to make sure that your grass is without weeds, it is thick, and it's the best one in the neighborhood. Magazine ready is what I like to call it from time to time. All right, right now, they're celebrating serving Middle Tennessee for 20 years, man. Lawns is what they do, and I told y'all a second ago, they are good at it. They're family-owned and operated, and they are local, punctual, quick response time. And best thing about them, too, man, they service all types of grass. So whether you have a residential place you want to get taken care of, commercial, or even for you coaches, the athletic fields, man, go ahead and get a head start on your yard and call Secure Lawn. You can reach them at 615-893-8455 or go to securelawn.com.
Car lost the roof. Studio roof is gone. With a Friday visit with Ron Slay in studio. RKW brewed by Scooter's Coffee. As we continue here through the final hour of the show and the week. Some of us host 20 hours this week. We're not complaining about it either because this is not real work.
No, it ain't. Not with March Madness going on.
Absolutely
Spread
not.
opinions.
Easy.
Savage pulled a big brother on me too, man. It was
Did
like, yeah, he did. His boy was like,
What?
just say you want me to come in the studio sooner.
Just say you want your dog to come rock with you, man. I'm on the way.
We don't really ask. It's just understood.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you busy? No, what you need me?
Yeah, that's it.
I feel like with just the three of us in a room that we're about to do a Tennessee tailgate show before a Tennessee football game.
No.
Man, we might need to bring that back, man.
Seriously, man.
Good
Straight
vibes.
Up. Yeah,
It's
no,
good
great vibes.
Tennessee beat Wofford last night, Slay. What did you like?
Hold on.
He back and forth with Hubbs
Let
right
me get
now.
more numbers. Chaz Lanier, game high 29 points, 6 of 13 from 3. Somebody posted a picture of Chaz glaring into the camera after he fouled out against Florida and said, oh, this might have been Chaz's MJ, and I took that personally moment.
It could have been.
And I would love for it to be, because if that's the kind of Chaz Lanier we get now in the NCAA tournament, then let's go ahead and book hotels and flights to San Antonio.
Let me go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Savage said that he had spoken with Chaz though, and you said it before the tournament kicked off. I think that Friday he was like, no, what you want to see out of him, you gonna get.
Yeah,
and we've been getting it.
It was locked and loaded, man. Let me just say, man, real quick, I hate Brent Hubbs. I hate Chris Lowe. I hate Mike Strange. I hate all of them, man. Because they know so much. You know what I mean? Before you can even get your point out and be like, you're right. All you're going to end up saying is, you're right. You are right. Absolutely right. Like bingo. Exactly. Like them the only phrases I get to reply with because he on so on point. But yeah, man. I thought when you looked at them, man, they were getting ready to go. I thought that they hit a point in the season. And I said on the SEC Network as well, like you either gonna get on and understand where y'all headed and everybody be pulling in that same direction, or you got to get off. You can't. It ain't no 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You got to get 2 feet in, man, and go full-fledged. And it seems like they had that communication with each other, and they all pulling in the same direction, dog. Whether they win or lose, you can't walk away from watching their team play and say, man, they didn't go out there and fight. You know what I mean? Like, the shots may not go. They may be defended differently. But as far as the effort and the intention, man, you give me that, and I live with the result all day long, and you seem to get that.
I love it. 29 from Chaz yesterday. He's locked in at Kentucky. Really, since that loss in Rupp, it feels like something switched in this team. What's it going to take, Slay, though, to get that switch in Igor Milicic? Because they need him in a big, big way if they're going to reach their ceiling.
Yeah, they do. And yesterday he was a little bit better. Being able to watch them, still some small details that he got to iron out. And I think one of them is harnessing his energy. You know what I mean? And it's not like it's being put in bad places, but be intent where you're putting the energy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's offensive rebounding, understanding when to like reach in, don't foul. Like it's some small details, man, that could change his game. And he did it yesterday. He played without fouling, and then he went through a stretch where he picked up 3. It was like, what are you doing, Igor? Like, it was like, relax, brother. So I think he's in a good spot, though. I think he's in a good spot. I think the team with him is in a good spot. I think they feel what he's going through. I think he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. So to get him to relax, if he can get a good game and output, I think it's going to pay off. It's going to like be a pressure release for him. So hopefully that can come with this UCLA matchup. But to watch them yesterday, they attacked matchups. And the coaching staff that did the scouting did a terrific job of getting those single pin downs where it's a single screen by the big, letting Chaz curl off of it or read how they're playing it, and to get the flare back, and him being aggressive. Like, he came out aggressive, and for maybe the 3rd or 4th time stayed aggressive throughout the game, which was pretty dope to see. But I also think that's part of Lethal Weapon Gainey being able to go out there and him being who he is. Like, I'm watching him, dog. And his maturation over the season is unbelievable.
It's almost wish he can get another year.
Dude, like this dude here, man, is in his bag. Some of the shots, I'm like, I can see where he's trying to get to, and he's getting there.
Yeah, he is.
You know what I mean? Like, that is so dope to see. I thought another wrinkle that was great to see. They got stagnant with Zakai. It was Zakai, Bishop, and I think Chaz in the game.
It was.
And it may even been Meshack at the 4 and Felix or Igor at the 5.
Yep.
And they took, and it was stagnant because it felt like everything was being ran for Chaz and they wasn't getting anything. And during the play, Coach Barnes switched it, told Zakai to give it to Bishop, let him run the point, and you be a threat coming off the floppy screens and everything. So I thought that was a cool little wrinkle, and it bought some time to get him off the ball, especially how he's been shooting and being able to attack. So the wrinkles in the game were pretty good as far as, the counters and being able to make adjustments. We're going to see what happens against Mick Cronin and UCLA, but I also believe, man, at some point, just pull the curtain back, man. I'm all for fans don't be signed and everything, but my sides are not for the players. My sides are for the coaching staff. Like, man, when the game is in hand, you got to let them dudes go sometime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was a couple of plays where somebody drove and kicked it to Bishop. Bishop Boswell had it in the corner, and he didn't shoot it.
Passed it again.
I was like, but you got to understand they program not to shoot that shot because you may come out. Man, when you got to lead like that against an inferior opponent like Wofford, that's when you get your confidence and you build your rocks up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I thought, man, if he would have did that, it would have been good. And I also saw a little bit of Darlin Stone Dubois why he's not been able to play as much defensively. Whew.
Yeah, that first step ain't there for him.
It's a little lost.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it too is him playing a different position. Like, he's used to being at Hofstra and you can compensate with what you do offensively,
right?
And you can lack on defense. You know what I mean? You can't do that with Coach Barnes.
No.
Like, you better off doing the opposite. You know what I mean? Going really, real hard on defense so he can compensate what you can't do on offense.
Yeah.
But that's why it works out so great for Meshack to get them minutes. But yeah, Dubois, man, they're gonna need him.
Yeah, they are.
100%.
That
Somebody's
body, he got a body.
step up.
Yeah.
That and one more, the big from Hofstra that stretched forward also. And this happened in which game? I forget for the Vols, but it might have been A&M, where they were just able to just drive down the middle
Ole
of
Miss.
the Ole Miss.
Jamin Brakefield.
Ole Miss.
18 second-half points.
Yeah.
That showed up again just a little bit yesterday as far as his inability to stop the dribbling through the post.
Yeah, but I think
through the paint.
I think that's so much of him. Man, you got so much responsibility defensively if you play for the Vols and Coach Barnes that it's a lot going on. You know what I mean? And you got to be locked in. It was one time they came with a switch. He thought him and Gainey were going to switch, but you can't switch if you playing the 4. If you were playing the 3 at that time, you could switch with Gainey. Gainey was playing the 2. Dubois was guarding the guy that was about to pop out, but you're playing the 4 spot, so you can't switch that. So he waved to him for a minute and was like, oh, no, I got to keep going. Gainey was like, I'm not leaving my man. The guy came off open for a 3, made the 3 at the top of the key, double down screen, and that right there, he got taken out after that. And it wasn't his fault, but you can see Barnes getting on him like, dog, you got to be locked in, and you do.
Right. Yeah. They were over-helping a little bit.
Yeah,
it felt
it
like
was too much.
They can play one-on-one with Wofford and stay in front.
It was too much.
They were over-helping and coming off and leaving shooters. Like, that's the one thing you
Chaz
can't
did it
do
a couple
against
times.
teams.
Yeah, you can't do it.
The UCLA matchup, Slay.
Yeah.
This is why you brought in Felix Akbara.
Yes.
Is to be able to erase a 7-foot big man on offense.
Yep.
So my concern with Felix, like I mentioned with Jamin Brakefield and Ole Miss, like Ramon just brought up, is the stretch 4 that's athletic enough to take him on the bounce from the perimeter and get him outside the paint. That ain't this guy.
No.
This guy is going to sit back to the basket.
That's right.
Adai Mara, 7'3" for UCLA. I like the matchup for Felix specifically because as long as he is, I like his ability against a big like this that's not as mobile and that's just a bigger body. What do you see when you look at this game and where it could go in Tennessee's advantage?
Now, this is what you got to understand, man. How are they going to do as far as the touching and the bumping? Yesterday, they let a lot go.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if it was just because of who Wofford was, and they were like, okay, we'll let Wofford even it out. Tennessee, we ain't going to call nothing. Y'all better pick it up and figure it out. Because there was a lot of dislodging of screens Wofford was able to do, so I want to see if that happens. I think, me personally, Felix should touch him up a couple times off the jump ball. You know what I mean? If they win the jump ball, what up? You know what I mean? Hey, you know, it's like, hey, what?
What was that little move right there you did?
That's just a little shoulder, a little forearm, like, hey.
Okay.
Like, hello.
At the jump ball?
Yeah, hell yeah. How you doing?
You can get that close?
Yeah, how you doing?
Oh.
This ain't nothing but how you doing. Yeah, how you doing? What's going on?
Right,
yeah, my bad, ref. I thought this was.
I'm going to be mad.
You're supposed to be. You're supposed to be. That right there let you know, let's get it on today.
Okay, all right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you coming down, the riding of the screens, him going up to set the screens, the little holding, the grasping, the box outs, all of this is part of it to keep him in the action and keep him in the movement. If you're Tennessee, I'm Felix, I'm telling Coach, hey, man, please let me go. I'm going 4 or 5 minutes hard, then bring somebody in for me because I'm going screen after screen after screen after screen. Like, I'm screening and when they go under, I'm resetting the screen. Let's get busy. And when you get down here, I don't care if I'm not even close. Throw it up.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it. I'm coming down with it. If I can't finish, I'm throwing it back out, go set another screen. Keep this dude in the action all day.
Keep him moving.
You got to keep him moving.
Yep.
If you let him stay planted, man, it could be a problem.
Okay.
Like the same way Auburn should attack Kalkbrenner on that screen. Like, you got to be able to get these guys moving, man. If you let them play at their style, you can be in trouble. But you have the guys, like you said, you brought Felix in for a reason, and this is that reason. And Felix been doing a great job of shooting free throws, so that'll be good.
That little push shot from Zakai Ziegler is really important in games like this because they did that to Kalkbrenner last year. Tennessee did in the Sweet 16. They got him out and they switched on those ball screens and they run the big to the basket and they let Zakai take that little 12-foot push shot because they're not going to give him the alley-oop. And I imagine that's how they'll run it with Mara, UCLA, is Mick Cronin will want to drop him back and just bet on the fact that Zakai is going to miss some in mid-range that they can rebound because they'd rather give up that than the, Akpara lob every single time.
Yeah, and you got to see a peek of it yesterday in the second half when they were playing Wofford. That, like you saying, the 8 to 12-foot range is going to be right there, Zakai. I understand you got potent scorers around you and they're shooting the ball very, very well. You got to score.
100%.
You have to score. Because this could be one of those, why don't throw that? Like, dude, you're open.
Yeah, just take
Shoot the ball. And that's going to open up so much more by you being a threat to score. So you're right on the head with that.
I like it.
Willie.
I think it's a good matchup. I think it's the kind of team Tennessee routinely beats because it's the kind of team like when a team plays Tennessee's tempo and style, but they're not as good as Tennessee. I give the Vols the advantage. Like Kentucky is one thing.
Of their defense?
They don't have the talent or experience, but they can do something different. Like UCLA wants to beat Tennessee.
Yep.
They want to play the same kind of game. It's not totally identical, I know that, but like tempo-wise, defensively, rebound, like Mick Cronin is an older school coach, right? Tennessee's a better team. If they take care of business and even play their B game, I think they're fine in this one.
I agree.
What else do you want to react to in the SEC? Drake, Missouri was awesome.
Yeah,
those
Talk about Drake's tempo. Whew.
Yo, what's my man name? Sturtzer? What's his name?
Bennett Sturtz.
Bennett Sturtz.
Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year.
I said leading up to it, man, if Sturtz is able to control this tempo of this game, it could be ugly.
Like he did.
The reason Missouri is good because they're able to turn you over and they're able to shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think they were top 5 in the nation as far as 3 points go getting them up, man, and making them. So you took that, you eliminated that from the game. The score was in favor of Drake. So Missouri went down. Georgia, I had the Zags beating them because of the matchup.
Yeah, me too.
Like that just wasn't conducive. They needed to play a young up-and-coming team to try to get some. They ain't need no experienced team to run it.
No.
I was in trouble.
Don't let that 8 seed fool you.
Nimhart has been around the block.
Yeah, and see, then when you look, I thought another good one was the Arkansas versus Kansas matchup.
Yeah,
man.
buddy.
Being able to see, I said going out there, Texas, no, it might have been Mississippi State and Arkansas, or Texas and Arkansas, one of them. If Arkansas is trouble when their 7-footers play like 7-footers. And that's exactly what happened. Hunter Dickinson, man, he ran up against Adu, and Adu said, "Oh yeah, you get some scouts looking at you. Well, they're going to look at me today." Yeah, that little same shot that he was missing against Zach Edey last year, that 14, 13-foot push shot, that little floater that he kept on missing. Everybody was like, "Oh,
stop shooting that!"
He was burning it yesterday.
Oh, whoa.
That's who Adu is, man.
He
So Right. But they've been building them with confidence, man. You ought to hear how Coach Kyle, and this is one of the things Coach Kyle don't get credit for, is because his X's and O's sometimes is overshadowed because it's so bad. But when you look at him motivating and feeding players with confidence, man, he one of the best in the country.
His post game last night,
that's
you
him.
heard it.
That's him.
He's grown on me.
That's him.
Me too.
Is. It's a good change for him.
Seriously.
Good change for him. Getting Boogie Flan back the way you worked him in. You didn't take the ball out of DeJuan Wagner's hand. DeJuan Wagner.
Oh,
DJ Wagner.
yeah.
So DeJuan Wagner Jr., really, I was kind of right. But you didn't take the ball out of DJ Wagner's hand, man. That was beautiful to see because I thought Boogie being added back in was going to hinder them a little bit. But he played all 40 minutes, handled the ball. Boogie was good in his spot.
Yeah, he was.
Billy Richmond was good. Like, they could. Arkansas was one of my dog horses coming in.
Patino and Calipari is going to be
beautiful.
Awesome.
It's going to be beautiful.
Because St. John's is really good defensively, but they'll go through some lulls.
Yes, they will.
And some droughts. Like Ken Palm's got him 65th in offensive efficiency. That is not conducive for a team to make a deep run in March because you're bound to, in a 6-game streak, have one day where you just miss jump shots. It's why Tennessee teams of old under Rick Barnes haven't made Final Four runs. This one is a lot more balanced since, most of these, but no, I'm so excited for that game.
And what I hate to say, man, but it's leading into the Cal, his mantra. Like his team actually got better in March. It's crazy. Like Nelly Davis is playing better, DJ's playing better. Like the freshmen are playing good. Brazil and they do. Big Z is the only one that ain't really giving you nothing because I think that little thumb injury is bothering them. But other than that, man, dude, like
he's so funny.
They have gotten better.
Right.
Like you just look at it, man. The guys that are expected to play well are playing well for these teams. That's why I can't wait to see what Alabama look like, Mississippi State, and them delivered last night.
Oklahoma, UConn, though.
Yeah, UConn ought to handle them because I think it's going to be.
I was
difficult.
hopeful, Savage.
No, don't be hopeful. Just be hopeful that Jeremiah Fields will have a good game. You know what I mean? Like
if he doesn't,
maybe him and Jalen Moore. You need them to come on with it. Like they can shock the world, but it's no, he ain't gonna tell you watch out for it. So just,
that is my upset.
Just enjoy.
I was hopeful for the SEC.
Don't let that be the one.
That wasn't the one.
That ain't the one right there. Let's hope Mississippi State upset somebody.
There you go.
Next round
Mississippi State Baylor.
I live that life, Dan.
All right. When we wrap up the show next, I want to hear this quote for the Maryland head coach Kevin Willard calling out his administration publicly. Slay, have you heard this?
No.
You'll enjoy it. We'll hear about that, and we'll wrap up the show coming up next. Sure is. On RKW, brewed by Scooter's Coffee. We'll get final thoughts on the SEC or the NCAA tournament games for SEC teams today, but we've been teasing this audio for an hour.
All I can go ahead.
No, you got it.
What you been saying?
All I can hear is Kayla singing right now because Kayla be jamming on this little part. Yeah. Kayla go off on this little part right there. Yeah, oh boy. You better not tell KK she ain't shaking it down. Hey, man.
Here we go.
That's my girl, man. Enjoy your vacation, KK.
Straight up.
All right, well, Kevin Willard, the head coach at Maryland, might be on vacation soon. He was asked about his name being connected to job openings. This is a little bit of a long quote, but there's a lot to it, and the end of it is worth it. So this is the coach of the Crab Five, Kevin Willard of Maryland.
Yeah, I've addressed it with them directly. I'll say this. This is Damon and I talked on Sunday night right before
the AD.
Right before Selection Sunday. He gave me a term sheet right before Selection Sunday. I really wasn't focused on it. Been focused on this team and this. Damon's talked to my agent. I talked to Damon this morning at length about where we are. Obviously, it's difficult right now because I think we know his situation. He's probably going to SMU, so it's kind of tough to negotiate with somebody that's maybe not here. But I need to make fundamental changes to the program. That's what I'm focused on right now. That's why probably a deal hasn't got done, because I want to see I need to see fundamental changes done. I want this program to be great. I want it to be the best in the country. I want to win a national championship, but there's things that need to change. When you're at a place for 3 years and you put your heart and soul into it, you kind of sit there and say, okay, wait a second, for us to be really successful, X, Y, and Z needs to change. And first and foremost, I need to make sure that we are where we are with NIL and rev share is not where we've been with NIL for the past 2 years. We've been one of the worst,
it gets better,
if not lowest, in the NIL in the last 2 years. So that's first and foremost. I also have to make a fundamental change where
that's the part.
I can do the things that I want to do with my program. You know, I wanted to spend an extra night in New York this year to celebrate Christmas with my team, and I was told that we can't do that because it's too expensive. So I don't know how we can be a top-tier program and I can't spend one extra night in New York because it's too expensive. So there's fundamental things I'm fighting for my team and my program. It's not so much about me. It seems I want to make sure that whatever we do going forward, we're successful, and we're successful at the highest rate.
There you go.
So I'm confident that
that's
we'll
good, Justin. That's Kevin Willard.
Wow,
future Villanova coach Kevin Willard talking.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, he just ain't doing number channeling Gary Williams and the old Maryland, Juan Dixon, Steve Blake. Yep. You know what I mean? Steve Francis. He looking for that old ACC Maryland. Hey, Willard. You in the Big Ten now, brother. this ain't that old ACC. Willard, I know what you talking about. Everybody else probably don't, brother. So, hey, man, we're going to go and look for our next job. That's what
Villanova head coach Kevin Willard talking. He has been the rumored guy for Villanova because Cal Neptune's out there. So we'll see what happens there. But anyway, I bet Scott Van Pelt's already offered some NIL money. So
he went all. It's real out here, Savage. It's real, man.
Brian Kelly did it, and he got a $5 million freshman quarterback.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Could work for him.
Get behind us. Yeah. I'm out of here.
That man just threw Christmas in there just as a bonus.
You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to do with my team. You know what I mean? Like, it was like he was going there. And you know something else that pissed me off? Let me tell you this right here.
And while I have you.
You remember that time you got me that Uber X and I wanted Uber Black? Yeah, that ain't going to go no more.
You know what? When you good, that type of stuff matter to you.
I want to go to the Empire State Building. You just took me to Rockefeller Center. I mean, what are we doing?
What are we doing, man? We had to sit at the bar. We couldn't get a private table.
Come on now. Come on, man.
These are the things that matter. They matter.
They
especially when you damn good at your job.
So is.
I love it.
God.
Quickly, Slay. Vandy St. Mary's today. In the NCAA tournament. First Vandy tournament game since 2017.
Wow.
Interesting matchup. St. Mary's team swept Gonzaga and then got beat by them in the conference tournament.
Right.
But they have played a ton of basketball together. That's always an experienced team. What do you want to see from Vandy in that one?
Man, that's a tough team that they're going up against. Somehow you got to break up that continuity, man. Whether it's physicality, whether it's shooting the lights out, or turning them over. You got to be able to bring something to it that knocks them out of that element. You got to get them off that square. So hopefully, Vandy, I need them to stay out of foul trouble and just be Vandy. I think that's one of the biggest things about the first round games. Impose who you are on the team instead of trying to take on the team and say, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to throw this wrinkle at them or we're going to counter with this. Go be who you are and be the best version of you. That's the advice to Vandy.
I like it.
No doubt.
Good
I'm rooting
stuff
for the West End team, man.
Man, I need them to get this. I want to see them win today. Ole Miss, Bama, Mississippi State is going to have a tough road.
What about Kentucky?
You know what? It's hard to cheer against Mark Pope
Yeah.
and the way he
That's
is
fair.
bringing up his program. But after being in Rupp yesterday and Wofford getting on a run and all the Big Blue Nation starting to cheer with Wofford.
Come on, my boy.
What we doing, y'all?
T-R-O-Y,
Is the hate that real, dog? Like, okay, if that's what we gonna do, because listen, I've been on the soapbox. Like, hey, y'all, Auburn playing Tennessee, y'all go support them. We saw that.
Yeah.
Saw some of Auburn come support Tennessee.
Sure.
But for Kentucky to come in there and flood the arena with Wofford, and then they get on that little 3-0 run, 5-0 run, and they stand up, and they were telling people to get up.
Yeah.
And then Chaz came back and silenced that ass.
did. Yeah, he did. See, this is why. This is why.
Come on,
This is why it just
y'all
means
don't do
more.
us like
Stuff
that,
them in
man.
a corner. You put these size 14s up against their neck every time.
They're so just bad
Couldn't believe
Chaz
they
didn't
did that,
choose to
man.
play for them.
Like, y'all wanted Wofford to beat us, y'all? I thought we was together in this.
They probably have a Jack Golke flashbacks on some of those Wofford shooters, too.
It was great. You
From
went in
as
there
we beat ours.
respectful, too,
Yeah,
didn't you?
man.
Back at it Monday morning, reacting to the weekend of the NCAA Tournament. He is Ron Slay of SEC Network and 3HL. Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Hey,
it.
man, I got to give a shout-out real quick, man, before Savage hit his. Man, Zach Pillar, daughter, man, just went out there and got honorable mention, All-American. Her journey came to an end.
Nice.
So, Zoe Pillar, man, salute to you. Man, way to handle out. Go out on top, baby.
That's awesome.
That is, man. Well, that's where we go right now.
where we
Everybody
at,
love
Sam.
your
I
people,
love it.
man. Talk to somebody you ain't talked to in a while. Buy somebody this weekend and March Madness a random drink, man. Have a random conversation. Talk trash, but shake hands at the end of the day. But all costs, man, make it back to us on Monday. ELE. Everybody love everybody.